He is the Demon King, the final boss of this story. He coldly plays with the fates of the main characters as if it were chess. He doesn't care about the lives of others. It has always been that way. But the closer his death from the future gets, the more anger and even sadness awakens inside him. What is scarier, to die or to start feeling? And if even the main boss begins to doubt, who is the real monster here? Let's find out together. The story began with the fact that in ancient times, a demonic tower appeared from the ground, and the decline of humanity came. People awakened their superpowers to fight evil spirits. And finally, a hero was born whose talent was incomparable to others. He was able to reach the highest floor of the tower, capable of ending the darkness, also known as the light of humanity. Ling Xiao. He thought that he was returning for the third time, and now he has pumped up all the skills and attributes. He also got the most powerful equipment and weapons in the world. Judging by the system, everything will end if you clear the last floor. The fighters standing behind him assumed that he was probably thinking about girls again. Xiao explained that he was thinking about what would happen after defeating the Demon King. He was always misunderstood when he looked at the system window. After all, only he could see it, so he had to come up with excuses. They went inside and began to wonder why it was so empty here. Shouldn't there be a boss here? The atmosphere here was not as gloomy and dark as on the lower floors. Everything here was so bright, clean, luxurious, and beautiful. Xiao noticed that the angels looked scary because they wanted to scare away the demons. And the demons were beautiful so that people would lose their vigilance. The more reliable and attractive the environment, the more seriously you need to approach the battle. He thought about it. In 3 returns to the past, he reached the top of the demon tower for the first time. He knows nothing about this level at all. The fighters happily said that they were only able to get here thanks to the sergeant. The demons they had seen before, he met as if he had fought them many times. It was as if he knew what they could do, and what their weaknesses were. There was one last step left before the triumphant dawn. The fate of humanity depended on them. A girl approached him and joyfully noted, with him they would definitely win. Suddenly her head fell to the ground. The Demon King, being behind him, greeted them sarcastically. Xiao waved his sword in fear and thought, a demon? Why did he not feel it approaching at all? He tried to strike, but in an instant the sword flew into 2 pieces. He thought this was the strongest sword known in the world, and he broke it with 1 finger. The Demon King instantly appeared behind him and struck a powerful blow. Xiao flew into the wall and, bleeding, asked, is he the Demon King? How can a demon look like a human? He explained that he is the personification of all the fears known to man. He was born in the darkness of humanity, so he looks just like them. Xiao used the Eye of Truth skill, and seeing its stats, thought about it. His health hasn't decreased at all. He put all his strength into the strike, but it didn't deal a single point of damage. Wait, is this constant and definitely unlimited health? What about his mana? Does this symbol mean his mana is infinite? Does this mean he's invincible? System windows appeared, warning that a huge source of danger has been detected. The difference in strength is too great. The chance of winning is negligible. Xiao thought about it. This is the first time he's seen such a high risk. He has no chance of winning. The Demon King broke the system windows and noticed it seems like he found some great junk that only he could see. It showed him the way, so he was able to find unique weapons and support. He doesn't know what it was, but he won't see it again. Xiao screamed in horror. What did he do to his system? The Demon King explained. Although it was invisible, it couldn't stop him from breaking it. After all, he is absolute. He thought that he would die, because he had no strength to resist at all. Although this was not the first time he had encountered death, but now he was more afraid than other times, and he couldn't think of any plan to defeat it. No, he can't give up. Even if he dies and goes back to the past, he must work harder. There are no hopeless situations, and humanity still has hope. Suddenly, he felt a healing buff on himself and wondered in confusion, why was he doing this? This must be the best recovery technique. An incredible amount of energy flows into his body. Xiao asked in confusion, why is he healing him? The Demon King asked with a malicious smile. He went back to the past, didn't he? Judging by how familiar he is with the beasts on the lower floors, judging by his skills and weaknesses, it seems that he has clairvoyance. However, if he really had it, he wouldn't have been so scared when he saw it. So, he's a regressor who has come back more than once. Maybe 2 or 3 times already? If he kills him, he'll come back and start over again. Over and over again, he'll try to break out of the vicious circle, and sooner or later, he'll kill him. Judging by his reaction, he's right. He's too nervous. But he shouldn't worry, because he won't let him die. His armor is the best in the world. No one but him can break it. As expected from a person who's living this life for the 3rd time. His healing technique will heal him, so he'll never die, and his armor will become a prison he can never escape from. He'll be locked up forever and will know neither life nor death. The Demon King thought, the protagonist has the protection of the plot armor, and everyone has felt like a protagonist at least once in their life. But how do you determine who the real main character is? Prophecies cannot answer this question. Only historians can. Whoever wins in the end is the protagonist, because he is the strongest boss. After a while, a news reporter said that according to the report, the hero Xiao and his team fell in battle. They met their end on the top floor of the tower, only one step away from victory. The Awakened Association expresses its deepest condolences and asks them not to lose hope. They call on all capable people to continue to challenge the tower and prevent the demons from invading their world. After many battles, people began to believe that they could defeat evil, but they did not know when it would end and how many would need to be sacrificed. After a while, Tiantian asked Bai Qinfeng, another fighter, are they going to a secret S-rank dungeon? Dungeons are places that connect human cities and the demonic tower. They can appear in any part of the city, after which numerous demons come out of them, bringing destruction with them. Most of the Awakened Association members explored the dungeons found in the wilderness, and they spend most of their time clearing the dungeons inside the city to ensure the safety of the people. After some time, they entered the S-rank dungeon. Tiantian asked, can the monsters here really drop a bloody awl? And will they really be able to defeat the Demon King? The bloody awl is an artifact that sets the rules. Properties: each attack will deal at least 1 point of damage. Qinfeng replied, justice will always triumph over evil. She needs to be more careful. Tiantian apologized excitedly and noted, he is a genius, even though he is so young. If he trains for a few more years he will definitely overtake Xiao. He is her idol. She will always support him. Suddenly, they saw a defeated monster in the center and the protagonist sitting on a corpse. Qinfeng asked in confusion, did he take the bloody awl? MC noted, as he thought. There will always be smart people who will try to use the rule-making artifact to defeat the Demon King, so he came here himself to take the item. Qinfeng said, he tried hard, now let him give him the bloody awl. The protagonist asked, he doesn't know who he is, but he's trying to rob him? He replied irritably, saying that he's trying for the sake of all mankind. How can this be robbery? In his hands this item will be much more useful. This is necessary to defeat the Demon King, all for the sake of justice. MC silently fired a charge of magic right at him. Qinfeng fearfully used the crystal cube and thought, is this magic so strong? Is he really not a human? The protagonist instantly grabbed Tiantian and asked, is he the same Qinfeng? There are rumors that he is the successor of the hero Xiao. How does he like this offer? If he destroys his crystal cube, he will let him and this little fan go. He always keeps his word, if he doesn't believe. Qinfeng attacked fiercely and shouted, she is doing this for the sake of all mankind. He will build a monument in her honor. MC quickly dodged and remarked, it seems he doesn't care about her life at all, and he still has a poor understanding of the nature of people. He shouted, the strongest hero is always alone, and he will inevitably have to sacrifice the people around him. And he, as the Demon King, is the source of all evil. The protagonist let go of Tiantian and said, some may think differently. She asked devastatedly, how could he be so cruel? She had followed him for so many years. Who cares? Let him forget about her and run away. Let him use his cube and escape. Qinfeng pointed out that he is a genius blessed by heaven and the new hope of humanity. How can he escape? Justice always wins, because only people who fight for justice have the determination to win, no matter what. For the sake of humanity, for the sake of the future, and for the sake of the world. MC laughed wildly and asked, will he really stay? In that case, let him not blame him. In an instant, a rift appeared under Qinfeng and he began to fall into the abyss. The protagonist, watching this, said, he can try to drink water from the lower river if he gets thirsty. A hero like him should have been willing to give his life for a good cause a long time ago, right? But was his death heroic enough? Falling into the unknown, Qinfeng thought, he doesn't want to sacrifice himself. Everything can't end like this. Let the Demon King spare him. MC opened a portal and began to leave. Tiantian thought in wild horror, he's dead. Is she really going to die too? Wait, is he really just leaving? She asked in bewilderment, is he letting her go? The protagonist asked, didn't he say he would let them go if the magic cube was destroyed? He keeps his promises. Of course, it's a pity that he can't leave anymore. Well, they'll see each other again. Next time he'll definitely finish her off. He came out of the portal in the form of a completely different person and began to walk through the city. Sometime later, at the headquarters of the Awakened Association, the employees asked if he would like to join their association. MC agreed, and the second girl happily noted that the monsters had been rampaging more and more lately. Some of them even managed to break out and attack the city. They would warmly welcome all the awakened ones, especially handsome guys like him. What is his name, level, and abilities? She would help him register. The protagonist introduced himself as Qinfeng and said that they must have heard of him. He was very pleased that he could join them. Sometime later, at the headquarters of the Awakened Association, in the Hall of the Seven Elders, one of them noted that out of the 7 elders, only 6 remained. He never thought that Xiao, who had the ability to return to the past, would also be defeated in the demonic tower. The president of the association, who was below, explained that as long as the Demon King was in the tower, he would have unlimited health and infinite mana. They couldn't continue to sacrifice heroes, they needed a different plan of action. He had already called on all the people not to enter the demonic tower. Everyone should start looking for items that would seal the demon's heaven. They must seal the evil spirits and the Demon King in their tower forever. And they must make it so that the demons cannot invade their cities through the dungeons. In this way, they will secure their world forever. The elder replied he had already summoned the chosen one from the parallel world. From now on, he will call him a traveler from a place called Earth. Another one noted, of course, he must keep this a secret. After all, even he does not know that he came here to save their world. But travelers have always had such a fate, haven't they? Now his soul is in the body of his younger brother Xiao. It is said that after he crossed over to their world, he continued to act as before, and also sometimes expressed unique thoughts. Now he is the leader of a small but powerful squad. They go through the dungeons in search of artifacts that conceal the demon tower. Another elder, drinking alcohol, said that on the full moon of last month, he made predictions for Feng, and it said that he would soon find the item he was looking for. So the tower will soon cease to be their problem. After a while, the assistant in the hallway asked, will Feng really be able to find the thing that can seal the demon tower? Is it really going to happen soon? Humanity will finally be saved. The elder approached her and asked, she never thought that the Demon King could leave the tower and wander around their cities? Then what's the point of locking the tower? He slapped her and shouted happily, you can't be serious. How will the Demon King leave from there? Besides, in that case, he will no longer be blessed, and then his strength will drop to the level of their best warriors. And as soon as they find out who he is, they will immediately attack and kill him. Either he will be locked in the tower forever, or he will leave it and face endless assassination attempts and eventually die. If Feng finds that very artifact, then they will win. That's what the vision showed him. At best, he will come across the item today. Judging by the time, he should be back soon. The elder entered the room and, seeing the protagonist, shouted in confusion, who is he? What is he even doing in his room? The MC introduced himself and explained he is an awakened one who just joined their association. The prophet closed the door and said, so he is the genius he heard about. The protagonist replied, he is flattered. He is glad to help get rid of the Demon King. He heard that among the 7 elders he can see the future. He came to ask him for a prophecy. Let him look into the future of the Demon King. The elder noted that he is approaching their main enemy too frivolously. If he could know his fate, then he would be the light of humanity, not Xiao. His art of prediction requires a full moon, and he must touch the right person. Only then can he use his power. The MC grabbed him by the throat and asked, isn't today a full moon? The prophet asked in confusion, is he completely stupid or pretending? It's not just the full moon he needs to touch his target. And he can't fight, so he won't go to the demon tower. Where can he find the Demon King to make a prediction? It's not like he can ask him to meet him. The main character grabbed him by the throat even more tightly. The old man screamed in fear, he's not Qin Fen, he's the Demon King. Next winter, the Demon King will be killed by a human. The protagonist wondered if his vision was accurate. The elder screamed in fear. He can make him say anything. MC said with a sly smile, let him look into his future then, and check if he kills him today. After a while, Fen thought, this is a typical reincarnation story. How an ordinary guy gets into a parallel world, and how he becomes better. From simple trash to someone who fights monsters and levels up, and how he acts tough and makes fun of arrogant characters. Ultimately, one wild day he defeats the Demon King. He is the trash that lives on the lowest and poorest level of the planet. And one day, while reading a novel on his way to work, he got into an accident and died. The situation is like the prologue of the book about reincarnation. That's right, he was reincarnated and ended up in the universe of that novel, becoming one of the characters. The second son of the Ling family, the hope of humanity, Xiao. But it's not him, he is his good-for-nothing younger brother, Feng. A hedonist and a villain, always living in his brother's shadow. These are the memories he has of this character. However, all of this will change because he is here. One day, Feng shouted at his father, saying that he knows the location of the sealing item, let him give him a strong squad and allow him to get it. He thought that he was familiar with the plot and was omniscient. He knew where the needed artifact was, and soon he found a map that would lead him to this item. After a while, in the headquarters of the Awakened Association in the main hall, Fen, being near his team, thought, although his brother is dead, the real protagonist has yet to come out into the light. It's time to save the world, he will become a real hero. He called out to Ya and noted, with him in the squad, she will definitely succeed. Fen thought, this is a beauty with an icy gaze. In his past life, he could not even dream of being close to such a girl, but in this life, she is his bride. And he met this girl halfway through. She is like a bunny, always scared and waiting for him to save her. Fen stroked her head and noted, they are in the main headquarters, so she is safe. Tiantian immediately smiled and thanked him. He thought, it is nice to get along with such empty-headed beauties who think only of love. The reincarnated really have an unfair life. Fen began to leave and noted, he has things to do, so he will go away, and they can handle the remaining business. Tiantian asked where he was going. He explained that he needed to talk to the great prophet. He thought that once he became the hero who sealed the demon tower, he could get everything he wanted. Then what did he care about a few women? When he left, Tiantian and Ya went to the reception and said that they came to discuss a service. She wants to recommend a person who could join the association. She wants to recommend Tiantian. She was saved by Fen when they were exploring the dungeon. She is the only survivor of those who saw the Demon King. Let her be allowed to join the organization. The employee asked in surprise. She saw the Demon King? Tiantian agreed and asked if she knew Qin Fen. He is a fairly famous hidden genius. She is his only follower. They came across the Demon King in the dungeon. He was killed, but she miraculously escaped. So fate brought them together with Mr. Fen and Mrs. Ya, and she joined their squad. The employee noted in bewilderment, Qin Fen just joined the association. He's alive and well. He came today and then went to see the great prophet. At this time MC, having assumed his true form, was still holding the old man by the neck. The elder began to beg him not to kill him, saying that he was ready to work for him. He can ask for anything, he will be useful to him. The protagonist asked, is that all he can say? Before, he thought that all people were like Xiao, that they were full of courage, justice, and strength, but it seems that he still does not understand people well. He needs to work on his knowledge of enemies. He did not think that he would find someone like him among people. He greatly reduced the anxiety in his heart, and as a reward for his service, he will send him far away. MC killed the old man and, using the appearance of Qin Fen, thought that if he returned to the demonic tower and Fen received the artifact, as the prophecy said, then he would be locked in the demonic tower forever. On the other hand, if he tried to stop him, he could not only be defeated, but also die at the hands of the hero, as the prophecy said. It was too dangerous to leave the demon tower now. Since he was told about his future, it was time to return. Maybe he will find a way to escape his predestined death later. Suddenly, Fen called out to him and asked who he was. Why hadn't he seen him here before? MC excitedly explained that he was an awakened person and had recently joined the association. He pointed to the S-rank badge and asked if he wanted to join his team. They were going to get the item that would seal the demon tower. His name was Fen. He might have heard of him before, but he would soon become famous throughout the world. It seemed like he had talent, so wouldn't he want to come with them? The protagonist agreed with a mischievous smile and thought, now they would see if the old man's prophecy would come true. Fen smiled and remarked that he was lucky to have met him. Soon the whole world would know his name. Let him follow his orders, and he would treat him well. He even saved a beautiful woman on the last mission. She was Qin Fen's partner. He heard that she was the only one who managed to survive the encounter with the Demon King. MC asked, is she the only one who saw the Demon King and still survived? He agreed and explained, her name is Tiantian, and she is already on his team. They will meet soon. The protagonist immediately backed out and explained. He remembered that the pig in his hometown was about to give birth, so he should go back and help. Suddenly, Tiantian herself called out to them along with Ya. Feng whispered that he might not know, but sometimes he gets tired of being surrounded by beauties all day. However, he has no choice. They love to be around him. MC thought that this was the worst-case scenario. He turned around and greeted them. Tiantian happily hugged him and shouted. She knew that he was able to escape. She was very worried and kept thinking about when they would be able to see him again. She is grateful that he saved her from the demons last time. She will definitely repay him for his kindness. She admires strong people, and so she will continue to be his follower. MC thought, this is the first time he sees a person who admires the Demon King and wants to repay him with kindness. He noticed, so she is a smart girl. He will treat her well. Fen asked discontentedly, what does it mean to be a follower? He's the only one in this room. Ya interrupted him and asked, so he is the awakened genius from the rumors? She has heard about him. She is pleased to meet him. Right, they have both seen the Demon King. So what does he look like? Tiantian described him, saying that he is scary and evil. The protagonist added that he looked like a bad guy. Fen thought discontentedly, he is getting more and more annoying. He remembers that according to the plot, Qin Fen was supposed to die at the hands of the Demon King, and only she saw the last boss and survived. Did his actions change the future? No, he needs to ask the great prophet about it. Suddenly a worker screamed, saying that the elder was killed. Half an hour ago he was still alive. Let them close the association and find out who he has seen during this time. Feng excitedly noted that he had only managed to see him. MC interrupted him and added, only the captain himself and him. He shouted furiously. He did not have time to meet him. As soon as he arrived here, He saw how suspicious he was acting at the counter. This means that he killed the great prophet. He knew from the beginning that something was wrong with him. He grabbed his hand and shouted, "Let him calm down, he's in too much of a hurry." Bung hit her and shouted, "He fooled them all. This is not the real Qin Feng, he can't fool him." The captain began to attack, but the protagonist dodged with lightning speed and finding himself behind his back, noted, "He can't even be compared to Xiao and he thinks he can talk to him so impudently?" MC struck, began to press his foot on his face and wondered why he was so sure that he was not Qin Feng. He remarked that he had heard of him. He is Xiao's younger brother, who was called the Hope of Humanity. He is a worthless piece of trash, and is even worse than he thought. He likes his older brother more. Ya called out to him and said, he didn't do it on purpose. He used to be an honest person, but recently he has just become more impulsive. Please don't let him hurt him. Feng furiously took out an S-class weapon, soul-tearing claws, and tried to strike. MC deftly dodged and asked, a mediocre person like him has an S-class weapon? He thought that an ordinary S-rank awakened person is no match for him. But he doesn't remember him being among the geniuses. Suddenly, the association president appeared, dispelling all the magic and shouting, "Stop fighting." Awakened association president, skill disperses supernatural power in the area of effect. He remarked, every member of the association is important in the fight against demons. How can they fight among themselves? MC thought, so he is the president. This is bad. He is not in the tower, so he does not have buffs like unlimited health, infinite mana, and ignoring the rules. He is dangerous. Now he needs to be more careful. He bowed his head and said, he is terribly sorry for causing trouble. It is all his fault, but he promises that it will not happen again. Then shouted furiously. He did not stop him when he hit him, but he prevented him from fighting back. Did he really take his side on purpose? Or does he still look down on him? MC thought, is he really a genius who is able to get an S-class weapon and find a map with the location of a divine item? He looks like he does not have enough brains and stamina for this. The president pointed out that he should stop talking nonsense. He did not switch sides, he is only trying to benefit humanity. Feng shouted furiously, he knows that they all despise him, but they will know what he is worth, let them just wait. He will soon get the sealing item and close the tower, and then they will understand that he is the chosen one who saved the world. The president of the association asked, is his name Qin Feng? He admires him. He is not only strong, but also brave and level-headed. MC thanked him and thought, do all people adore him? The president noted that he had already conducted a preliminary investigation into the murder of the great prophet and found traces of demonic power. Perhaps a demon escaped from the dungeon and killed the prophet, and humans are not involved in this in any way. But one can only be sure of everything after a thorough investigation. Soon the search for the divine item will begin, so he should also go with Fen and become a support for the future of humanity. The protagonist agreed and thought, he really is his support. Only from the other end. The president began to leave and pointed out that he should continue to work hard. Someday their fate will pass into the hands of young men like him. Ye said he would go after Fen. He's been very irritable lately. MC called out to her and asked what happened to him. Oh, he's just worried about him. He got carried away and did something bad, and now he feels guilty. She explained that Fen used to be honest, cowardly, and good for nothing, but recently he's suddenly changed. He said something weird about books, reincarnation, cheats, and parallel worlds. She thought he just didn't get enough sleep. Then it happened. Not only did he become fancy and bold, but he also learned where the highest quality items and weapons were, as well as the divine relic. It seemed like he could get anything he wanted. He was a weakling, but thanks to the rare artifacts, he was somehow able to reach S-class. The elders from their families said that he had gained enlightenment. Maybe he had awakened an incredible skill? Although he still didn't say anything about it. MC thought about it, so it wasn't that simple. He was sure that he wasn't Qin Fen, but he didn't dare say why he thought so. Why didn't such an upstart share this with his family and fiancée? Maybe because he wasn't the real Fen. He would be killed if he told the truth. Parallel worlds, changes in personality, and he also knows about everything? He was afraid that he was possessed. Suddenly there was a roar. At this time, in the city, the association fighters shouted. An A-class demon ran out of the dungeon and entered the city. Mr. Fen is already fighting him. At this time, he was fighting the dog's corpse with an F-class weapon. A raging flame and ice-flying sword. He shouted furiously, how dare a monster rampage in his city? He is a hero, and he will protect everyone. Everyone should only look at him. He began to inflict magical attacks with his weapon. At this time, the association members, watching the battle, began to shout, they say he can handle even an A-class demon. MC thought with a sly smile, this wild beast that ran into the city will fall at the hands of people. After death, its energy will return to the tower and turn into an A-class demon. It is a rather rare creature, so most people see it for the first time. But he has a distinctive feature. When he gets the right amount of hits, he pretends to be dead. and then becomes a monster. After the victory, Fen heroically stood next to the corpse. He thought that now he only pacified the A-class demon. But when he seals the demonic tower, the whole world will know about him. Suddenly the monster behind him began to transform. The mutated corpse of a dog, SS class, a hellish demonic dog. Fen screamed in fear. How is this possible? The monster sent a column of fire in his direction and seriously injured him. Fen started to crawl away and thought, it can't be. He threw him back with just one blow? Is this really the legendary SS class? Suddenly, you ran up to him and asked in fear if he was okay? Let him lean on her. They need to run. The monster began to prepare an attack again, when suddenly the protagonist appeared. He struck and thought, it was too early for Fen to die. He must help him find the divine relic so that he can destroy it. So he'll have to endure it for a bit. The monster started to growl and resist fiercely. MC whispered in demonic language, does he even recognize his master? In an instant, the huge monster whined and ran away in fear. Ya asked in confusion, what's the matter? Was he scared of Qin Fen's gaze and ran away? Was this demon really such a coward? The NPC started shouting, like the demon tucked his tail between his legs because he was too good. Ya picked up Fen and happily asked how he did it. He said with a smile, probably the monster just looked scary, but in fact it turned out to be quite an easy opponent. He thought, who cares? The main thing is that he saved Fen. If he is grateful to him, then maybe he won't say too much in the future. Suddenly the captain himself woke up and, grabbing him by the chest, shouted, did he do it on purpose? He must have dealt with the monster with some kind of trick. He knew that he would become stronger, but he decided not to tell him about it. He deliberately decided to make him look like an idiot. Now he's getting all the glory. Is he happy? It's nice when everyone admires him. It's all his fault. It's all because of him. It's more important for him to show off in front of the audience than to save his comrade, so he just stood there and watched. MC thought, some people don't deserve help. He grabbed his hand and asked, what kind of trick? It was just an ordinary A-class devil. He's no good. He failed to make himself look like a hero, and now he's looking for an excuse for his shame. But he's not going to participate in this farce. The worker asked, why is Fen so capricious? How can he blame others? The association member explained, he's just talking and has no evidence. He thinks he wanted to seem cool, but he failed, and now he wants to get his pride back. The worker said excitedly, when the great prophet was killed, they were both in the association. Tian noticed, right? Fen suddenly became very strong. Maybe he used immoral and forbidden arts? At this time, the captain himself thought, what fools they are. They are all idiots, because they do not see that he is just pretending. And because of this, people go over to his side. MC let him go and said, he thinks that there was a misunderstanding. It seems that he has already calmed down. It is time to make peace. Fen thought furiously. He pretends that he is not guilty of anything. Even after he came out the winner, they will see who can pretend better. He shook his hand and said, he lost his temper because that dog hooked him. Let him forgive him for his rudeness. He is already better. And thank you for saving him from the monster. Let him take care of him in the future. The protagonist replied, there is no need to be so polite. He is the one who should thank him. Thank you for the fact that now he is not the only suspect. After all, he is the one who killed the prophet. Fen furiously pushed him away. Suddenly Ye grabbed him and asked what he was doing. Why did he suddenly attack him? He calmed down and thought about who he was and what he was trying to achieve. There was no such strong person posing as Qin Fen mentioned in the novel, and the plot can't be different from the original. MC thought about it. He was only going to take the sealing item, but if he became a hindrance, he would have to kill him. Anyway, after the relic is destroyed, people will die sooner or later, and there shouldn't be any annoying people. After a while, the protagonist and Ya sat down in a cafe. She thanked him for saving him and said that the team would soon go after that very artifact. Fen never let the others see the map where his location was marked, but he said that it was somewhere in the south. The journey will be long, so she hopes that he will get along with him. Please, let him not give him too much importance to his attention. She has known him since childhood. He is a good person. MC thought about it. It's a pity that in reality it is no longer him. How ironic. A dirty soul from a parallel universe moved into the body of an innocent person, and now enjoys the love and care of her future husband. And then he still dares to talk about becoming a hero and protecting the world. He tried to take a sip of coffee, but suddenly choked and thought, disgusting. He does not understand people's tastes at all. And in the past there were not so many different coffees. The main character asked, did she not think that her fiancé was sick? Maybe that is why he changed so much? She wants him to become the same as before? In the south, there is an item that can be obtained on their mission, and maybe this will help Fen become the same as before. Ye asked in surprise, can he make him the same? MC agreed with a sarcastic smile. After a while, Fen himself was walking down the street and thought, they have not even reached the beginning of the story yet. And as far as he remembers, in the introduction, Qin Fen did not return alive. But the prophet actually died at that time. Wait, he remembered. When he saw him for the first time, he was acting suspicious. It felt like he was trying to escape, but after he told him about the sealing artifact, he agreed to join his party. Did his intervention change the course of events? Was he supposed to just disappear? Was that why the novel didn't mention the unimportant character who pretended to be Qin Fen for a couple of days? And the prophet's killer hasn't been found yet. Yes, the whole point is that he was supposed to disappear without a trace. And he didn't pretend to be Qin Fen anymore, but now he joined him. Will this change the ending? In his past life, he was an ordinary trash, and he was going to change his fate by becoming the protagonist in this world. He didn't think it would be this hard. Suddenly, he noticed Ya talking to the protagonist in the cafe. Fen thought furiously. He won't let the plot change. He knows everything about this world, and he will get what he wants, because he is the chosen one. The next day, the president gathered all the best fighters of the association and shouted that the most important thing for humanity is to get this relic. Fen will be the leader of the team, and now let them go. After a while, they arrived at a place teeming with monsters. The captain shouted, "They are not very strong on their own, but there is simply no end to them." MC thought, he kills demons along with people. It doesn't matter, now he is just putting on a show. Suddenly, Xiaoke charged with powerful energy and, sticking his sword into the ground, created a powerful magical surge. Tiantian shouted in admiration. It was amazing. He replied that he is not very good at one-on-one battles, but he is good at fighting against hordes of opponents. People like him can only help in moments like this. Feng called out to them and warned them he has something to tell them. The artifact is there, ahead, but the terrain is unpredictable, and they don't know anything about the monsters ahead. This trip may be much riskier than it may seem. Besides, they have been walking non-stop for 5 days straight. He thinks they should return to the city and rest, and he will go on reconnaissance alone. They immediately began to object, saying that this is not possible. How is he going to go there alone? What if he encounters a deadly enemy? Feng replied that it was his duty as a leader to find the safest route for his people. He had already made his decision, so they might as well not try to dissuade him. Xiaoke immediately burst into tears and remarked what a good person he was. The captain thought with a sly smile, all thanks to him. A rising star born in the lair of demons and tempered in the depths of poisonous caves. A future SS rank, whose name will shake the world. Their relationship now is only a short-term cooperation. In the original, he was the main character's most trusted assistant. It was his loyalty that played a big role in the protagonist's path to success. He only became one because the protagonist used several high-quality ingredients while making an S-class purification potion that would allow him to cleanse his body of the toxins accumulated since childhood. Since then, he was willing to sacrifice even his life for it, but since the story hasn't started yet, he will subjugate him before the protagonist appears. He will receive not only the artifact, but also the protagonist's fate. He will replace him and become the new hero of this world. Feng started to leave and shouted for them to wait for him in the city. They will continue their journey after this. He thought, only a few people in the whole world know where to find the necessary ingredients. However, fortunately, he is also one of them, since the book mentioned their location. Xiaoke will soon be his property. At this time, MC thought, although he knows little about human nature, but he is sure that he is not the type to sacrifice himself. You noticed? She heard rumors that somewhere nearby there was an underground auction. She thinks it's worth looking into it. They will meet again in a few days. She began to leave with Tiantian and thought, if everything is as he said, and the whole thing is that Fen's soul is being devoured by a demon, which is why he began to change his personality, then she should buy an item at the auction that can cleanse the soul and return the real him. Suddenly, another fighter called out to the protagonist and noticed that 3 of them had gone their own way. They better return to the city and get a good rest, as the young master ordered. MC asked to stop and replied that he was deeply touched by Fen's decision not to endanger them. But that does not mean that he will not worry about him. Why don't they quietly follow him? That way they can help him in a difficult situation. They immediately changed their shoes, like they can do it. They are also very worried about the young master. Ya, hearing this, thought he really cares about him. She thinks, deep down, he is a very kind-hearted person. The protagonist said with a smile, they are flattering him. Everything he does is for the sake of humanity. He thought, now they will see what kind of person he really is. After a while, Fen entered the S-rank dungeon, the malicious chessboard. He saw strange figures in front of him and thought, as described in the book. The purification crystal is somewhere on this chessboard. However, he does not know the exact location. Wait, where did this feeling of fear come from? Suddenly, a huge red pawn appeared behind him. Fen armed himself in fear and shouted, is this the spirit of chess? He tried to strike, but he could not break through and began to dodge the enemy's attacks. Suddenly, another pawn appeared behind his back and he fell. By that time, a knight appeared, but Fen confidently took out his sword and shouted, "He will cut it now." He tried to strike, but the monster had the blade clenched in its teeth. He thought, all those countless souls that had fallen here had been absorbed by the chess pieces. They would remain here as long as the battles continued. These pieces had absorbed so many vengeful hunters that they had long since surpassed S rank. He needed to get out of here. Fen created wings and flew into the air, when suddenly an extremely large pawn appeared and struck him, sending him flying into the wall. He was surrounded and the captain thought, he was finished. He couldn't escape from here. No way, he had been moved here to become a hero. He couldn't die here. Suddenly the main character appeared and destroyed one of the pawns with one touch. MC began to destroy all the opponents one by one. Fen, watching this, thought he didn't even have time to see his movements. He destroyed all the chess pieces in an instant. Who the hell did this? The fighters immediately approached him and asked how he felt. He replied that everything was fine. But why did they follow him? Who explained that the protagonist was really worried about him? Even though he wasn't particularly useful, he was also worried about him, so he decided to follow him. They were waiting nearby in case he suddenly needed help. Xiaoke added that that's right. Didn't he say he was just going to scout out the area? So why did he decide to go into an S-class dungeon alone? Thank goodness the protagonist asked them to join him. Feng thought with displeasure. So it was him? At this time, MC destroyed all the monsters and the souls of all the killed hunters appeared nearby. He thought, they thanked him for freeing them, even though they knew his true form. The protagonist took a rare material, the purifying crystal, as a reward. Feng thought, this is the worst possible scenario. After all, now he has the purifying crystal. MC wondered, so that's what he wanted so much? Not good, because now it belongs to him. Who pointed out, they were very lucky that he was in the same party with them. They should continue to work together. Fen thought with displeasure. He couldn't stoop to fighting for this item in front of so many people, because now everyone thought he deserved it. But he didn't even need help. If he had a little more time, he could have defeated the king himself. Even though he didn't have the crystal now, he could still make a half-cleansing potion. The effect won't be as good, but it will still be enough. MC thought, the more he tries to hide it, the more suspicious he becomes. How he wants to see what he's up to. Now he'll just do what he does. For some time, the protagonist simply began to clear all the dungeons that Fen wanted to clear. Having lost all the materials, the captain thought furiously. He still couldn't get a single item. He took them all, and he can't even say anything against it. MC, looking at the materials, wondered why he was so eager to get it. Although it is very rare and expensive, but he doesn't think he needs money at all. So what was he going to do with these items? Suddenly, Xiaoke came up to him and shouted in admiration, let him look at these materials. The protagonist mixed all the components and created an S-class purification potion. He shouted with tears in his eyes, this is the same S-class purification potion. He asked many alchemists, but none of them could do it. MC wondered if he needed it. Then let him take it. He doesn't need it. Xiaoke asked with wild excitement if he was sure. He just decided to give it to him without asking for anything in return. He thought that with this, he was finally able to cleanse his body of the toxins that had accumulated in his body over all these years. He threw himself at his feet and started screaming, saying that he was such a good person. From now on and forever, he would be his most devoted follower. MC shouted, let him leave him alone. Why so much passion? It's just an ordinary S-class potion. Xiaoke shouted back, saying that he didn't even ask for anything in return. How selfless he is. He will never leave him alone now. The protagonist thought with displeasure. He is the Demon King. So why did he have another human follower? He noticed Fen's depressed and angry state and wondered what was wrong with him. Besides, why were the materials he was going to get needed for the potion that Xiaoke had been looking for all this time? Wait, did he really want to win him over to his side in this way? But in the end, he did it. It sounds very plausible, and yet, how did he know where to look for it? Besides, he still can't understand why he is so sure that Qinfen is already dead. He probably had to wait until Ya returned with the soul-restoring artifact anyway. Fen sighed, turned around and suggested that they should go back and rest. They would wait until Ya and Tianyan returned so they could go together to find the divine artifact. He thought furiously that he had ruined his plans again. He couldn't let him do this anymore. After a while at the hotel, Hu bowed his head to the captain. Feng sternly ordered him to kill the protagonist. He screamed in fear, but he had saved him so many times he was a good guy. The captain replied that he should just do as he said and not blabber too much. He had been with him since childhood. Wasn't he his most loyal servant? Hu excitedly noted, he had a power that was incomprehensible to them. He was definitely no match for him. Feng wondered if he couldn't use a forbidden technique that would temporarily elevate him to the legendary SS rank in strength. He explained that it would cost him his life. His family had served him for generations. And when he was a child, he always told him that he would treat him like one of his family. Feng asked if he had forgotten his oath of loyalty. He knew that he was going to be the hero who received the sealing item, right? He bore the burden of responsibility for all of humanity. So why shouldn't he sacrifice himself for the future of this humanity? Hu resigned himself and replied that he understood everything. He was ready to make this sacrifice, but not for the sake of humanity, but to fulfill the oath he gave to him. Sometime later, in a city park, MC, looking at a fountain, noticed a strange movement in the water. Ice blocks instantly flew out of there. The protagonist barely dodged and thought, "Is the water frozen? Is someone trying to kill him?" In an instant, the entire fountain was covered in ice and frozen fragments began to fly. He wondered, is this really SS rank? When did he manage to insult someone of such caliber? In an instant, even more ice flew towards him, forming huge ice spikes. Hu appeared, who used a forbidden SS rank technique that consumes an exorbitant amount of life energy. MC, having dodged all the ice attacks, touched the cut on his face and noted with a smile, he is the first person who was able to injure him. However, that was all he would achieve. His HP had barely decreased. Gao Hu said that he respected him, which was why he wanted to end it all with one blow, so as not to cause unnecessary suffering. He then raised 2 fingers, using the endlessly draining life force. The demon said, as he would say, he was very curious about the power of the SS rank. The next second, a blood-colored snowflake stopped on his chest and he thought that he had frozen even his flowing blood. MC grabbed his chest and thought that he was very cold, as if his insides were freezing. Gao Hu said that was true. He was able to control any liquid, even inside the human body. He then realized that something was wrong and said that his blood was different from everyone else's. It was not completely controllable. He then clenched his fist and closed his eyes, saying that he would have to use another method. Then 2 powerful energies appeared in his hands. The protagonist was surprised by such a concentrated black mana. He shouted, "How dare he use mana like demons? Isn't he afraid of going crazy?" Gao Hu shouted that this is all for his master, for the glory of the Ling family. The next second, drops of his mana poured from the sky, which began to attack the Demon King like blades. And the next second, a powerful column of energy hit the ground, hitting the imposter right on the ground. Everything around was covered in ice crystals, and Gao Hu sank to the ground, breathing heavily. He said that it was over. Then the demon came up to him and he asked in surprise, "How is this possible?" MC shook off his jacket and said that it was really over. He hesitated. He was even able to reduce his HP to such an extent. Although, if you think about it, it's not that much, but now it's his turn, right? Gao Hu said that this can't be, and the next second the demon's hand was on his face, and he told him to just kill him. He wouldn't live long anyway. He thought it didn't matter. He was still willing to sacrifice himself for the Ling family. The protagonist said, even if he didn't kill him, he would still die soon because of what he did. He overestimated himself too much. He sacrificed his own life by activating the forbidden technique. Gao Hu told him to do it faster, but the next second, instead of attacking, he felt himself being healed. He shouted in surprise, "Why is he healing him?" The demon asked, "Did he tell him to die?" He thought he didn't want to get into trouble. Dai had never targeted a minor character like him. The warrior wondered how he could be so selfless. He had just tried to kill him. And MC said he was touched by his loyalty. He thought that he had just made up a random excuse. After all, his goal is not just to kill strong people. His main goal is to destroy the sealing item and then destroy all of humanity. Then he felt Leah hiding behind a tree, watching them. She thought that Qingfen was a kind and gentle person. It was the first time she saw a guy like him. The demon then extended his hand to the party member and said that he needed to go back. If he was afraid that he wouldn't be able to explain everything to his master, then, if he wanted, he could play along a little, pretend to be injured or something. Gao Hu took his hand and asked, how should he repay such kindness? The demon thought, great, one less problem. Then he glanced at the tree behind him and thought that there was still one left. I wonder if he had aroused suspicion? The next second, he grabbed his chest, feigning sharp pain, and Leah anxiously ran up to him and grabbed his shoulder, shouting, "What's wrong?" He thought she fell for it. And then he stood up with her help. She shouted that she knew it. How could anyone remain unharmed while blocking the attacks of an SS rank? He acted quite decisively. He looked at her and asked how she ended up here. Did she get that soul recovery potion? She confirmed it and said that there was no one at that auction who had more money than her. That's why she bought it at a high price. But she feels that because of this, he might think that she doesn't believe in him if she asks him to drink it straight away. Moreover, she still thinks if his soul wasn't changed, the potion might harm him. MC put his hand on her cheek and said that he thinks it's because of her. She's beautiful. And he's sure that just because of that, many guys will like her already. And this new soul, maybe his target is her. He's worried about her safety. She asked shyly, does he think she's beautiful? Li Ya thought that many men had complimented her beauty, but it was only when Qingfeng did that I felt joy instead of rejection. The demon said that he knew that she was engaged to Feng, but he was still worried about her. Then she turned around and ran away, shouting words of gratitude and adding that she would do anything to make him drink the potion. He said that now he could rest assured for her. And he thought, people are easy to manipulate. There is another person who is easy to manipulate. At this moment, Gao Hu was standing behind a tree and thought, is Feng possessed? Sometime later at the feast, Xiaoke asked, why are there only 4 of them? Where are Qingfeng and Gao Hu? Feng said that there is no need to wait for them, then suggested that they start the meal without them. He then looked at his bride and said that while she was gone, he had explored the dungeons here a little and had mapped out some routes so that she could follow him without a doubt. She looked at the potion cup in front of her and said, okay. She thought that she should just make Feng drink it to see if Qingfeng's guess was right. She then held out the potion cup and said that she heard that he was injured a few days ago, so she decided to make him some medicine. He thanked her for her concern and reached out to her waist and said that he would treat her very well in the future. Xiaoke looked at the embarrassed girl and asked, is there something wrong? She replied, nothing. She thought that the real Feng had never been active and was quite timid since he was a child. He couldn't even confess to her properly. Qingfeng was right. She then told Feng to move away, and at that moment, Gao Hu walked into the room. Xiaoke shouted, he finally came back. Did he have something to do? Feng thought in surprise. He was able to survive and come back? It seems like it's done. Then he stood up and walked towards the entrance, saying that he was very worried. Welcome back. Gao Hu said as he ordered. He used the forbidden technique and sacrificed 20 to 30 years of his life. Feng praised him and said that he would take care of him in the future. At that moment, the Demon King appeared behind his interlocutor and asked, is he surprised that he is alive? Gao Hu at that moment told Feng that he learned some information, but he pushed him aside and shouted at him to get lost. Li Ya stood up and ran to the protagonist. She said that he is really very strange. He should be careful. Feng angrily shouted that she is his fiancée. What is she doing? Xiaoke walked up to Tiantian at this moment and asked if she thought there was a conflict brewing between Captain Feng and Qingfeng. She said that it couldn't be, they were so friendly. Feng was scolding Gao Hu at this moment. He was shouting that it was all because of him. The warrior thought that he had always been a timid but kind and compassionate person towards servants. He knew that he was injured, so why was he looking at him with such disdain? Apparently, the real master was in danger. Tiantian asked her comrade, if they really started a fight, who would he join? Xiaoke looked at her in surprise, and Gao Hu at this moment took the container with the potion and addressed Feng, saying that he had failed his mission, so he didn't mind being beaten and scolded by him, but he still needed to think about his body. He needed to take the medicine. Feng snatched the potion from his hands and shouted that all he could do was run around and bring him medicine. Taking a sip, the captain thought that in front of everyone, he could let him lose face completely. At that moment, the container smashed to the floor, and the spirit of the real Feng flew out of his body and shouted that the one they cared about was him. Feng grabbed his throat, shouting, how is this possible? Everyone looked at him with alarm. Xiaoke shouted, Captain, what happened? Who is he talking to? Watching what was happening, MC thought that he should make a big scene. He might be the only one who knows the location of the artifact, but so what? He won't be able to defeat him. The next second, Feng shouted at the imposter to return his body. The captain yanked the tablecloth and ran to the exit to the alarmed cries of his teammates. Clutching his head, he thought that the real Feng was fighting him for the right to own this body. He can't let them know that he's a weirdo in this body. Li Ya said there's something wrong with him. Gao Hu asked what they should do now. She said she didn't know. After a while, real Feng was sitting at the table writing a letter saying that he was real. His soul had returned to his body from another world, but he would soon disappear since he was no longer the owner of this body. This might be the last time he used this body as his own. With that in mind, he needed to leave behind something useful. For example, a map of that bastard who came from another world. From his memories, he realized that the future of this world was written in a book. The hero defeats the Demon King. And since he remembered everything from that novel, he would leave the details to someone he could trust. This story begins with a genius guy named Li He, who would become the hero of this story in the future. When he first left his hometown and came to the big city, he immediately ran into a hopeless scumbag who had to be killed. That scumbag was Lin Feng. It was after this incident that Li He became hated by the Lin family. It was because of this that he had a hard time, But before the first snowflake fell, the chosen one, Li He, killed the Demon King. Based on the memories of this soul from another world, it is safe to say that the guy named Qingfeng is righteous and kind to others. He will leave this letter to him. If he can defeat this soul, he will receive this letter as soon as he returns to the association headquarters. Feng then passed the letter to the spiritual transmission bird, and thought that by then, Qingfeng will be able to use this letter to help the real protagonist save this world and kill the Demon King. Perhaps this is the only right thing he has done in his entire worthless life. His soul is weakening. He will soon completely lose control of this body. He hopes that Qingfeng can stop the new owner of this body. The next second, the soul flew out of the body and the imposter said that this is already starting to irritate. He can't let anyone know his true identity. He needs to get rid of them all tomorrow. Sometime later, in the SS rank dungeon, the Cave of 10,000 Demons. Tiantian, looking around, said as expected of a dungeon in which a fragment of a divine item is hidden. Xiaoke asked, "Where are the demons? Did the captain do something? How good he is." At this moment, Feng looked at the glow in front of him and thought that this was a fragment of a divine artifact. He was able to get it. Li Ya at this moment told Gao Hu to snatch the fragment from him, but be careful not to harm it. He agreed with her, and the captain at that moment swung the fragment, releasing a powerful beam of energy and thought that the power of this fragment was capable of giving great power to any awakened. Gao Hu, dodging the beam, shouted, "For what?" And the captain at that moment jumped over them and running in the opposite direction, shouted, "Do they think that he does not know what they have planned? They would be better off staying here and waiting for the demons of this dungeon to kill them." He thought that as soon as they died, there would be no one who would doubt his identity. The next second, demons from different directions headed towards the guys. To the suggestion to run, Tiantian shouted that they would not succeed. They were exhausted and would not be able to overtake the demons. The protagonist at that moment shouted that they must run. He would cover them. The guys began to be indignant, but when they were near the exit, Tiantian shouted that he did it for their sake. They must not let him down and run as fast as possible so that his sacrifice would not be in vain. MC shouted that he would close the doors and keep them here. They should hurry. Tiantian looked at him and thought that it was to his advantage now, but he was still saving people. She hoped that he would kill this imposter, Mr. Demon King. At this moment, the protagonist slammed the doors and, turning to the demons, said that he could only show his true form to them. Turning around, he said that they had not seen each other for a long time. A long time had passed since he left the demon tower. One of the demons tried to attack him, but the protagonist hit him and shouted, "Did they forget him?" After that, he released a powerful aura and asked, "Well, did you remember?" A few moments later, he was sitting on the back of one of the demons, and the others bowed their heads and praised the Demon King. Then he offered to go and take revenge on Fen. At this moment, Fen ran forward and said that the divine artifact fragment had made a bloody contract with him. No one could break it except him. He was a hero. Then he stopped, seeing many angry demons in front of him and thought, where did they come from? The Demon King sitting on one of his subordinates greeted him, and Fen thought that this demon in demonic form looked familiar. He needed to run immediately. Looking up, he saw a light and thought that the exit was there. As soon as he got out of here, he would immediately become a hero. At this moment, MC ordered the demons to kill him and take the divine artifact fragment. The demons rushed to attack, but Fen, holding his sword in front of him, wounded the monsters and pushed away from them, making his way forward. The Demon King told his subordinates that they should be more serious, and at this moment the monster grabbed the captain by the leg. Fen screamed for it to let go. He swung his sword, trying to fight off the monsters, and when another demon was very close to him, he broke free from its grip, releasing wings behind his back. He screamed that he would get out of here. He received a fragment of a divine artifact, and he is a hero. When he approached the exit, the protagonist said, "Great. The demons must continue." At that moment, the monster grabbed Fen by the arm and the captain screamed for it to leave him alone. But at that moment, several more demons bit him from different sides, and he, screaming in pain, began to swing his sword again. Looking ahead, he said that he was almost at the exit. There was still hope. The Demon King mockingly said that hope is the most brutal violence. Fen continued to fly upward and said that a little more and he would become a hero. At the very exit, he saw the Demon King in front of him and thought, how did he get here so quickly? Just a second ago, he was below. The protagonist said that he could not escape, and the captain thought that he had been playing with him all this time. Then, fire volleys surrounded Fen and he fell down, destroying the ground beneath him. The protagonist reached out his hand for the fragment, but the artifact glowed, burning the demon's hand. He thought that it was rejecting him. How was this possible? Feng opened his eyes and laughed and said, Qingfeng, so he's alive? He wants the fragment? He won't be able to become a hero of humanity. Because of the contract, the fragment is now only his. Even if he kills him, he won't be able to break the contract. The Demon King thought, did he make a contract? How annoying. Then, he saw the spirit of the real Feng, who flew out of his body and said that he would not let him become a hero. He would take him with him to hell. The protagonist thought, could it be that the real Feng's soul appeared because the soul of the immigrant was unstable due to the injuries he received? At that moment, the spirit reached out for the artifact and the impostor shouted, what is he doing? The spirit shouted that he could also terminate the contract. The contract was terminated. The divine artifact fragment returned to its ownerless state. Feng shouted that he had worked so hard to obtain the artifact. If he had sealed the Demon King, he would have become famous throughout the world. He fully deserved. The protagonist killed him at the beginning of the story. The spirit shouted that, even though he had the knowledge from the novel, and even the blessing of the fragment, he was still too corrupt. And his actions would lead this world to disaster. He did all this not to save the world, only for glory. He even decided to kill his own companion. The protagonist at this moment reached out for the artifact and thought that humanity wanted to seal him with it. But now he was the one making a contract with it. Things were developing in a strange direction. Feng at this moment shouted for Qingfeng to stop. He must not kill him, otherwise his family will haunt him for the rest of his life. No one would believe him that he was able to obtain this fragment, so sooner or later, he would have to return it back to him. Li Ya was in cahoots with him. And Gao Hu too. There was definitely something wrong with that medicine. That must be why that wretched soul was able to regain control of this body. Once they returned, he would immediately kill every single one of them. He then shouted in surprise, what? As the spirit stabbed the sword into its throat, forcing the body to repeat the movement. The spirit shouted that it told it was too corrupt. It could no longer allow it to use its body and wreak havoc everywhere. Feng shouted, so he decided to kill himself? If the body dies, then so does he. The spirit turned to the fake Qingfeng and said that he entrusted this fragment into his hands. Only he can save this world. The protagonist thought that he exuded courage and determination. The spirit said to die with the worst enemy. He can't believe that such trash as himself was granted a heroic death. Feng shouted that he would never accept it, and the next second, blood gushed out from his mouth. Sometime later, the news announced that the association team had managed to find a fragment of the divine artifact. Once they found the rest, they would finally be able to seal the demonic tower. Humanity had a new hope. And the leader of the team that achieved such a success and also found this artifact, Bai Qingfeng. He had already been called the savior of humanity. Sometime later, in the awakened association, Xiaoke told the crowd gathered around him that Qingfeng was a magnanimous person. He put in a lot of effort to find high-quality materials, and then made a purification potion out of them and gave it all to him without any intention. Gao Hu said that he was the kindest person he had ever met, forgave the killer who was sent after him, and even helped him see the truth. Li Ya said that he was very handsome. She thought that many people would like him. The people present were expressing their admiration when Tianqian walked up to the MC and said that the old chairman called Feng immoral because he wanted to kill his team members several times. The association decided to completely hide Feng's existence, so they announced that he was the leader from the beginning. All the glory belongs to him. Right now, everyone is spreading his heroic story. Everyone thinks that he will become the savior who will defeat the Demon King one day. The protagonist said that this glory belongs to Qingfeng. Then he remembered Feng's spirit and said that no one will know the name of the real hero, but they will remember a cruel and hypocritical person like Qingfeng. Then he walked in the opposite direction, and Tiantian shouted where he was going. He said that he wanted to at least somehow repay the precious gift he received. At this moment, in the office of the association president, the president, speaking to the parallel world summoner, one of the 7 elders, said that it seemed like the soul she summoned from another world had died in Fen's body. She said that he didn't need to worry about it, since she could summon as many souls from another world as she wanted. No one cared about trash, so everyone would think that it was for the best that trash suddenly changed. He said, "But is this kind of treatment fair to the people whose bodies become possessed by these souls? They lose their bodies and even their identities. It's no different from murder." She asked why he was always so hesitant. It was all for the sake of world peace. Is it bad to make some sacrifices for the sake of the majority? And if he wanted to talk about it, then ripping a soul from a parallel world to come to this one was also unfair. Instead of living a peaceful life in their own world, they suddenly appear in another world and try to make themselves into heroes. How about that? So they, the summoners from other worlds, came to a certain agreement. Using the power of prophecy, they write their own passionate and exciting novel that will make the souls serve with all their passion in the new world. This makes them think that they are the saviors of the world. This way, they make them serve this world endlessly. Isn't it wonderful? If one dies, they can immediately summon another. Such souls can be replaced infinitely. The president said that this was a great plan. What a pity that the great prophet died. Now, he will not be able to help them write novels. Moreover, she will soon die too. At that moment, half of his body transformed into the Demon King, and she screamed in fear. A change of appearance. He is not the chairman. Who is he? The protagonist pierced her body with his hand and said that he is an ordinary opponent of passionate novels. She screamed with her last strength. For what? And he said that one idiot sacrificed himself, giving him this fragment of a divine artifact. He decided to repay him with at least something. Therefore, he decided to at least avenge him. Then screams were heard in the association, announcing the death of the summoner. MC, passing by the panicking people, thought that although he had only obtained one of the fragments, he had also taken it away from the people. Even if they collected the rest, they still would not be able to completely seal the demon tower. Should he return to the tower? At that moment, a worker ran up to him and, holding out a letter, said that it was for him and had arrived several days ago. After reading the contents, he thought, is this a novel? A letter from Fen. Could this be what the great prophet and the summoner had written during their collaboration? The so-called original novel. After reading it, he realized that the hero of this story had not yet appeared. Fen was a useless extra, and the real protagonist's name was Li He? He would kill the Demon King before the first snow fell. Why didn't he stay among the people and kill this genius? At this time, Li He was fighting a huge amphibious monster. When it burst out of the water, he concentrated the energy in his hand and delivered a powerful blow to the monster's head. Then he jumped away from the defeated creature to his team. The guys congratulated him on his victory and said that he could collect his reward. Li He exhaled and said that he didn't need anything. They could split everything between them. He wasn't interested in such a low-ranking reward. The warrior asked if he wanted to work together. He said that he didn't trust anyone and didn't need teammates either. He looked at the system window and thought that he already had what he needed. His name was Li He. He was from a quiet little town on the outskirts. Half a month ago, a system panel appeared before his eyes. The system sends new tasks every day. If he completes them, he gets rewards. I tried to complete many tasks to become even stronger. The warrior, watching his actions, said that he was staring at one point again and gesticulating. People started talking about him literally half a month ago. He behaves rather reservedly, is cautious in every action. He believes that a happy future awaits him. Like any protagonist in a story, only Li He can see the system panel and its tasks. This is his specialty, but he only knows one thing for sure. If he wants to become stronger, he needs to keep a clear mind and be careful. He has a long way to go, but he believes that one day he will be able to achieve what he wants. After some time, a worker approached MC in the corridor and said that half a month ago he asked to find out about the identity of a certain Li He. Today, a person with that name came to him. The demon turned to her and said that he wanted to take a look. Then he asked what time of year it was. She replied that it was already autumn. At this time, Li He approached the reception desk and introduced himself and said that he would like to join the Hunters Association. The employee apologized and said that his level was too low, so he could not join the association at the moment. Maybe he wanted to leave an application for the future. Li He thought, here are the first difficulties. His strength is growing too fast. It varies with the level, but if he manages to join the association, he will be left without valuable information. There might be difficulties in completing system quests in the future. At this moment, the protagonist put his hand on his shoulder and asked if he wanted to join his team. If he agreed, his chances of joining the association would increase. Their current quest was to find a valuable artifact fragment. He replied that he didn't need a team. As he was heading towards the exit, he added that there was no need to complete quests. He thought that if he couldn't join the association directly, the only option was to join a team. But for now, he had to be much more careful. Then, a system reminder appeared in front of him. After reading the reminder, he thought that according to this, he had to join the association, which was difficult. But on the other hand, I could increase my mana capacity by 10 times. The association worker said that Li He was strange. Why was he staring at one spot? The protagonist thought that this scene was familiar. After a while, Li He, who came from the future, got into a taxi and told the driver to take him to the Hunter Association headquarters. The driver turned around and started talking about Qingfeng's exploits, but Li He interrupted him and told him to stop talking. He didn't have much time. He had just been reborn. His current goal was to interrupt the events of this time, thereby stopping the process of his death. Today, He was supposed to join the association, but he needed to stop it, stay away from that person. He was Li He from the future, and he needed to stop himself from getting involved with the Demon King. At this time, in the association, a female worker duplicated the information. Li He, 20 years old, a D-rank hunter, was joining Qingfeng's team. She congratulated him on joining the association. Then a system reminder appeared in front of him, saying that the task was completed and he had received a reward. He thought, great. Not only was he able to join the association, but his mana had also increased. He thinks that he can cooperate with his team once. The system will not advise anything bad. A powerful force overflows his body. In just half a month, he managed to jump over rank B. Is he really the chosen one of heaven? Watching him, Leah asked what he was doing. Tianqian said that he had reached the second level. No wonder he was so happy. Then MC said that he had just received information about the location of the second artifact fragment. Li He, they are moving out. The girls gathered nearby began to praise Qingfeng. He thought that, in fact, he had made up this confidential information a few seconds ago. He just wanted to take Li He to a deserted dungeon and then finish him off. If they continued like this, he would be ashamed. Sometime later, on the outskirts, an abandoned hotel. The guys were sitting by the fire, and the protagonist said that they had been on their feet all day and needed to rest. This place used to be pretty, but then it was attacked by monsters that escaped from the dungeon, so people chose to change their place of residence. There are many dungeons in this area, so it is better not to wander alone. As for their journey, they will continue to advance tomorrow. Today, the boys sleep in the same room with the girls. They will take turns on duty. They need to monitor safety and also listen to his instructions. At this moment, a system reminder appeared in front of Li He, and he thought that the quest came early. After reading the reminder, he thought, A-rank dungeon? But his strength is not enough to complete it, right? S-rank potion? Half a month ago, he could not even eat normally, and now he can get an S-rank reward. Then he stood up and said that he needed to go out. He thought that the system was aimed at making him stronger. Since it gave him this quest, it means he can complete it. He believes in the system. Maybe he is a messenger of God after all. Gao Hu shouted after him. Did he really listen to the leader? It's dangerous outside. Li He said that he had his own business. He would be back in the morning. He thought that if he was going to become stronger, he shouldn't act like most people. Liya said that the captain shouldn't have taken him along. Tianqian said that the leader said that he was talented and wanted to take a closer look. Xiaoke said that he was weak. What if he died? Leader, there are many A-rank dungeons here. The protagonist thought that this was great. He took the first steps himself, and they guys can go to bed for now. He will help him solve everything. After some time in the A-rank dungeon, paradoxical stage. Li He, looking around, thought, where is the puppet? At this moment, the puppet was behind him and he, turning around, crossed his arms, blocking the attack of the monster. Then the puppet jumped back, holding the sword in front of him. Li He looked at the bloodstains on his sleeve and thought, his hand. He doesn't have a weapon, so he can only use his hands. Then the puppet ran at him again, swinging the sword in different directions, and he thought that he attacked with all his might, but he still couldn't hurt, but just one blow left him exhausted. He can't dodge. Retreating back, he came to the edge and thought that there was nowhere to retreat. The system decided to find out how impatient he was. At this time, at the Hunters Association headquarters, future Li He slammed the counter and shouted for Li He's location. He was seen today, right? The employee apologized and said that they were forbidden to disclose the location of their hunters. Angry, he walked to the exit and thought that Li He had already joined them. He needed to hurry, or he would die, because the one from that time wouldn't realize that he had fallen into a trap. At this time, inside the abandoned hotel, the guys were sleeping, while the protagonist controlled the puppet with the strings and thought that the genius of his generation went alone to a dangerous place, from which he could not get out alive. He has a perfect alibi, and there was no motive for murder. No one would dare to doubt him, right? The puppet and the system panel are all just part of his attributes that help create the perfect trap. Then a system window appeared in front of him, in which the central control asked what the next task for Li He would be. He said that there would be no next task since this evening would be his last. Some time ago, the protagonist, walking along the corridor of his tower, said that he had not been home for a long time. How nice it was here. Since the murder of Ling Xiao, he had time to get a little bored. Who would have thought that very soon a new hero would appear? Li He. He approached the fragments of the system window and asked, it seems that this is called the system, right? Ling Xiao had obtained quite a few good weapons and potions based on advice, hadn't he? Then a system window appeared in front of him, telling him that he was a master from today on. He said that in that case, these search abilities should also be excellent, right? The system should help him find Li He. Once he was found, the system should bring him to him and choose a good reward. Even if he considered himself a son of God, he should stop wasting time on constant training. This should allow him to achieve quick results. The system said that it would take half a month to bring him. He said that he would wait. Then he walked up to the throne and said, "Ling Xiao, long time no see. Have you gotten used to being a chair yet?" How does he feel? Before, he thought that all people would be like him, smart, cautious, brave, and selfless. He realized that people like him who were able to kill demons were quite rare, real heroes. It was just a pity that their deaths were always very tragic. By the way, he has one more thing for him. His brother Feng also became a hero, just like him. Half a month ago, peaceful province, Li Hei's home. He opened his eyes and asked, "What was that sound?" Seeing the system window in front of him, he thought that it must be a hallucination caused by hunger. He read the contents of the reminder and asked, "Owner, rewards, become stronger?" Currently, it's an A-rank dungeon. Concentrating energy in his hand, he shouted that he wants to become stronger. After all, he is the chosen one. He raised his fist forward to strike and thought that he believes in himself. He will never retreat. Then he punched forward again, but at that moment, the puppet pierced his body with its sword, and he shouted that he caught it. Then he waved his hand, sending out a pulse of energy that cut off the puppet's arm. He said that it was over. At this time, the protagonist controlling the puppet thought that he could defeat it. It's good that he prepared an S-rank trap, worthy of being called the protagonist of the future. If he hadn't fallen for this system from the beginning, maybe in 10 years he could become the new Ling Xiao. But it's too late. He was in too much of a hurry to become strong, so today will be his last day. After that, he sent the puppet in the form of the Demon King to the battlefield. Li Hei thought at this moment, isn't this the end? Why doesn't the system give him a reward? He looked to the side and saw the puppet raising a sword, and he asked, "What's wrong?" Is he thinking about the words he will say in his next life? Li Hei thought, what a powerful energy, will he be able to handle it? Then the protagonist delivered a powerful blow. At this time, in the Hunter Association headquarters, the main hall, the employee asked why he came back. Li Hei from the future shouted that he wanted to place an order. We need to fulfill his task urgently. He will pay as much as it takes. He needs a hunter with the teleportation skill. We need to deliver him to where he asks for immediately. Sometime later at the elders' meeting, the president said, if Li Hei, who just joined the association, is the person from the prophecy, then he became strong too quickly, right? According to the prophecy, he should have worked hard for decades to reach his current level. But in just a few months, everything went wrong. Immortal Ling Xiao, the great prophet Zhao Gang, as well as the summoner, all died one after another. Of the 7 elders, only 4 remain. The future of humanity is at risk. One of the elders laughed and said that everyone deserves to take the leader's place. The immortal has passed away, the prophet failed to predict his own death, and the summoner has only caused devastation. Leader, he can rest easy. If this Li Hei is the true one from the prophecy, then he should be fine. He will give him a chance to survive. The president asked, will he revive him? He replied, if he has already revived Li Hei once, then in this timeline there are 2 of them now. The elder's abilities are interconnected, but the future is a mystery to them. He has no idea how things will turn out. At this time, in the dungeon, the protagonist swung his sword and said that today he will die. Then he slashed in front of him, destroying the ground. Li Hei dodged this strike and thought that he was no match for him. Then he jumped to the next platform and thought that he should run. The protagonist chased after him, trying to hit the target with the sword. Li Hei thought that he barely dodged. Then he turned around and thought that he was not the target. That way he could avoid his attacks. He jumped from platform to platform, trying to dodge the attacks and move forward. He stopped and thought that there was nowhere else to stand. He said that he only needed to destroy this platform to kill him. Then the demon caught up with him and pierced his body with a sword, and he said how fast. The Demon King said that he was wrong. He was not that careless. Even after falling from such a height, he would not have died, thanks to his attributes, right? Or could he fly, and the escape was a cover? In any case, he should kill him personally. He was too cautious, and besides, he believed that his heart was on the right side, so he should strike there. Fine, he would just hammer his head to be sure. Lei said that his blade was sharpened. He thought that this would be the end for him. He had already hit his heart, he would not be able to stand any longer. Was he really going to die today? Did he deserve it? It must be because he progressed too fast. Then the protagonist put a sword to his head and said that the time had come. But at that moment, Leah entered the hotel room and called the captain and shouted that they had received information that a fragment of an artifact had been discovered in a nearby SS rank dungeon. He pointed to the right direction. At that moment, his puppet disappeared from the dungeon, and Li Hei asked, had it disappeared? Falling to the floor, he said that he needed to rest. At that time, in the room, Xiaoke said that this was great. He suggested going there tomorrow. The protagonist thought, just in time, the SS rank dungeon is very dangerous, Li He will die there. At that time, in the association, the employee said that they had found a hunter with the ability to teleport. Could she find out where exactly he wanted to teleport? Li He from the future shouted, to the southeast. There is a rare SS rank dungeon there. He thought that there was a fragment of the artifact hidden in this dungeon. In his past life he died there. In this life he will not only kill the demon lord, but also get the fragment. Meanwhile, Li He, sitting in the hotel room, shouted that yesterday's quest was too difficult. He almost died. He is still too weak. Then a system window appeared in front of him, saying that he received an S-rank potion. Was he ready to accept a new quest? He said that this quest will also be difficult. He needs to be more careful. Maybe he should refuse? Understanding his intentions, the system began to offer more and more good rewards. He shouted that now he will become the strongest. Is it really that easy? No need to train hard, afraid of problems, accumulate strength? Maybe he shouldn't have been careful before? Yes, hard work and a difficult path of cultivation are deserved by real weaklings. Geniuses just need to turn on their brains and go with the flow. He is a real son of heaven. He accepted the quest, and then walked out of the building, and Tiantian told him to get ready. They were going to go to the SS rank dungeon nearby. Traces of fragments were found there. Walking forward, he pushed her hand away and said that from now on he would not follow them. He had his own business, so it was time for him to go. She stood in his way and shouted that she wanted what was best for him. They were members of the same team, so they had to obey the captain's orders. He knocked her down and told her not to interfere in his business. Gao Hu shouted, "How dare he treat her like this? It's time to teach him a lesson." The protagonist turned to the system at that moment, and the next moment the system informed Li He that he must apologize to the girl, otherwise he would be suspended from using the system. But as a reward, he would receive an S-rank weapon. He thought, how is this possible? He just said something rude to them, and he is already facing disqualification. Was he wrong? This task was too humiliating. He grabbed his head, and the rest of the team continued to insist that he apologize. The next second, he knelt down and bowed his head and shouted that he was wrong. He's sorry. While he was pretending to be an obedient dog, Leah asked if he was okay. Tianchen laughed awkwardly. And Li He was rewarded with an S-rank weapon, thunder and lightning. He ran in the opposite direction and thought that he was very ashamed. Leah told her friend that he was too weird and she shouldn't pay attention to him. Tianqian replied that she didn't intend to. After some time, an SS rank dungeon, a mirror of reincarnation. Li He from the future, walking forward, thought that this was what he needed to defeat the demon. If he got the fragment first, he would be able to deal with the demon and protect himself. For over 100 years, no one has been able to pass this test, and this is not because of the strong monsters, but because of the rules. People who enter the dungeon receive an exact copy of themselves, so you can only leave the dungeon if you kill your double. But no one has ever managed to defeat their copy. However, even these rules have exceptions, since you can only copy yourself in the present, and the future him cannot be copied, and only the future him can defeat the present him. At that moment, his copy burst out of the mirror, jumping forward. He waited for its attack and thought, since he not only knows all of its techniques, but also prepared all the necessary weapons in advance, thunder and lightning weapons. According to his habits, he will dodge. Picking the right moment, he plunged the weapon into the chest of the copy and thought, he succeeded. In the end, the copy will forever remain just a fake. He is the chosen son of heaven. And now, he will be the only one who managed to pass this dungeon. Then he approached the mirror, which cracked, releasing a glowing object. He thought, a fragment of an artifact. Even without a system, the chosen son of heaven is him. Not only will he become a true hero, but he will also kill the demon, and when he takes revenge, he will become even more majestic. He touched his weapon to the sphere of light, and they seemed to merge. He thought that time was up, and a demon was about to appear. Then Li He appeared behind him in the form of Qingfeng, and he thought, what a terrible premonition, when his copy from the future, pointing his weapon, rushed towards him. He saw the fragment and thought that he must act decisively. Li He pierced the body of his present self and shouted that he pierced his heart. He must die, the Demon King. Then his face changed in shock when he saw Qingfeng's appearance change to Li He from the present. Pulling out his weapon, he shouted, how so? He thought, where did the Li He from that time come from? How did he kill himself? At that moment, the rest of the team arrived at the scene. They shouted in surprise, why are there two Li He's here? Leah shouted, this dungeon is famous for copying. It creates a copy so that they fight against themselves. Gao Hu shouted, Li He challenged himself. But where is the real one? As they ran closer to the corpse, Tianqian shouted that in his hand was the weapon he wore today. The clothes are the same as when he set out on his journey. He is real. And the survivor is holding an artifact fragment in his hand. They say that only the boss has this. Xiaoke, armed with a sword, ran to attack and shouted that this was a fake. Lihei, we need to kill the monster. The guest from the future, trying to block the attacks, tried to explain that it was not him. But he realized that there were too many of them and he could not cope, running in the opposite direction. He thought that the attack with the artifact fragment has almost no effect on people. He cannot win. Then he turned around, blocking Li Ya's attack, and thought, why did he kill himself? He took the form of a demon lord. Half a day ago, Li He was holding a transformation potion in his hands and said that it might come in handy. Then the system gave him a task. He must go to the dungeon of the Mirror of Reincarnation and kill the monsters. The dungeon will create a copy of him. He must kill himself to get the artifact. He must use the potion. Killing Qingfeng will be easier than killing himself. When he entered the dungeon, he thought, will it really work? Then he saw himself from the future and thought that the system was wrong. Why are there so many scars on his face? He has a fragment of the artifact in his hands. He is the boss. When the enemy pierced his body, he thought, what kind of demon lord? Did he die so quickly? He did everything the system said when he stumbled? At this time, Li He from the future attacked Tiantian from behind, and he thought why everything here was completely different from his past life. He did not turn into a demon lord from the past, and he did not go into the dungeon alone. Since he returned 3 days ago, he tried not to interfere with the original development. He teleported to the dungeon so as not to contact anyone, but what went wrong? Why is everything so different from his past life? Then he fell to the ground exhausted, and the team greeted the captain, reporting that the boss was not that strong, but Li He was still dead. The protagonist grabbed him by the hair and the guest from the future shouted that he was the demon lord and he needed to be killed. The others just laughed. Tiantian said that the copy's brain was too small. Not only did he claim that Li He was not him at all, but now he was calling the captain a demon. How hilarious. Then she took up the weapon with the artifact and said that they finally managed to get another fragment. Everything went much easier in this dungeon, and the copy was inferior in many ways to Li He with his B rank. MC said that it really was just a copy. He should not exist in this world. Li He thought, did he really understand who he was? The protagonist leaned towards him and whispered, does he really think he is the chosen son of heaven? He doesn't think he is the only one who returned to the past, does he? When he first met Li He, MC said that he would return to the room, and that Tiantian should call him when everyone was ready. Walking into the room, he said that he had been busy searching for artifacts all day and that he would soon become a hero. Then he saw the Demon King sitting on his chair and said, hello, he is from this world. In the present, the protagonist threw Li He forward and shouted for Gao Hu to show him. When a powerful beam of energy pierced his body, he thought, how could this be? He was supposed to be the protagonist. Tiantian shouted to the captain that they had the second fragment. Mission accomplished. Xiaoke walked up to her and put his hand on her shoulder and said that she had tried hard. She said that without the captain, nothing would have worked out. MC took the artifact in his hand and said that it was worth keeping. He thought that he had received it. Then they headed for the exit. After some time, MC came to the tower and told his copy to hide it here. He had to help preserve both fragments and not take them out of the tower. Then he asked how he could avoid being wounded in the chest in the future. The Demon King took the fragment and said that winter would come in 2 months, and snowflakes would fly. A hero named Ouyang Wufeng would inflict a severe wound on him with a fragment of the artifact, and he would be on the verge of death. He was holding on by his last breath until he managed to travel to the past. The demon from the present asked, is he safe for 2 months? What about him? He can't live with such an injury, can he? The demon from the future said that this is the first time he talks to himself. He is still too weak. He hasn't gone to the tower for 3 months. Did he completely forget? The Demon King has a passive skill, fixing the blood in the tower, so as long as he is here, he cannot be killed. The protagonist said, in that case, won't he be trapped here? Like the fairy tale of the princess locked in the tower. He said that he knows that it sounds unpleasant, but there is no other way. He must be careful. The 7 elders are constantly raising their powers. If he does not pay attention to them, things will not end well. Eternally reincarnated, a great prophet, a magician who summons souls, and also an elder who can travel to the past, the timeline has changed. Even he cannot say what will happen in the future. MC said that in any case, this Wu Fen will not appear for 2 months. So for now, he can live in peace. He has been in this world for 3 months, and has been searching for fragments without rest all this time, and is very tired. By the way, during this time he has managed to study the enemies, their abilities, lifestyle and much more. Therefore, in the future, they will have more opportunities to attack. The demon from the future shouted, "Isn't he too arrogant? He sat in the tower for several years. Would he look at him if something like this happened to him?" The main character said that he doesn't care. He is going on vacation. His interlocutor shouted, "How annoying. He has never seen anything like this." At this time, the news announced that Qingfeng and his team received the second fragment of the artifact. Very soon they will seal the tower. Lu Shisun watched from the bushes behind the big screen and said, "Is this really how the city looked 20 years ago? So many compatriots. Fresh air, clouds, blue sky, sun, just like in the book." The system shouted at him to appreciate the opportunity given to him. After all, God is watching him. He must find fragments of the artifact. He said that he will definitely complete this task. The gods watching the broadcast were discussing what was happening in the chat. Shisan shouted that there was no need to rush. He had finally found himself in the era of peace. First, he should get to know this world better. Sometime later, in a coffee shop, he looked at the drink with delight and said that he had seen it in a book. The waitress thought, poor guy, she would give him a discount. He shouted that he came here because of the tasks, but he also needed to try the coffee. Then he spat out the drink and shouted that it was bitter. The protagonist was sitting at the next table at that moment and did the same. They thought, how did people drink this crap? The waitress thought that there were two of them in the coffee shop. Then they went to a horror movie and both thought, what's scary about it? People are still as fragile as they were thousands of years ago. Then they visited a shooting gallery and an employee, turning to Shisan, said that he hit the center 40 times in a row. He has to take the prize. He's about to break the record. He's a member of the Hunters Association, right? He took the prize and thought that this was the first time he's seen a reward without bloodshed. A few moments later, the old man told the protagonist to take the prize. He broke the record. Taking the toy, the demon thought, what's the point of such a useless prize? The new fans surrounded the boys, and they thought that the world of 20 years ago and 1,000 years ago was quite interesting. Then they came to the zoo and shouted that animals should not be locked up. Then they came to the dolphinarium, and Lanlan showed his jump through the ring. The girls shouted that she really liked this dolphin. Shisan kept shouting that it was dangerous. The protagonist shouted that they were torturing him. Then they shouted that there was nothing good about this show. After which the guard threw them out of the park and shouted for them not to interfere with the performance. MC shook himself and said that the zoo was a rather strange place. Shisan looked at him and shouted that he had seen him in history books. He was very happy to see him. The demon said that he had only found 2 fragments of the artifact, and Shisan shouted that it was amazing. He asked him to take him into the team. He fell to his knees and offered to look for the fragments together. He assured that he would be useful. The protagonist said that he did not yet know where the next fragment was. At that moment, he learned that this man also had a system. Their systems were similar, but his was much more modern. The gods, watching the broadcast, continued to discuss what was happening in the chat. Shisan said that the gods loved the demon. He would team up with him to find the fragments. Then he said that he knew the location of the next fragment. He asked for permission to go with him. The protagonist gave in and said, "Okay, welcome to the team." He asked. He would not even ask how he knew the location. The demon took his hand and said that it did not matter. In any case, he did not say that he believed him. Shisan shouted that he was glad to be on the same team. He hoped that they would find the fragment. His name was Liu Shisan. But the last name did not matter, because the number was important. He was born 2 years after the war. Since the demon lord was seriously injured and died in 2 months, the balance between the demon race and humans would be disrupted. War was inevitable, because the demons, no longer feeling in control, would flood into their world, and the entire planet would become a battlefield. For the next 5 years, the words end of the world, war, death, and survival would be like bedtime stories for children. But the battle between humans and demons was expected. However, then humans discovered that, although demons could not be killed so easily, they could at least be dulled. Money, materials, enemies, weapons. Humans turned out to be much more terrible than demons. It was said that the demon race was born from the negative emotions of humans, but no one could have imagined that in 5 years a very grand event would occur. That year, when he was only 3, a god came to their planet. Because of the fight between demons and humans, he decided to come out into the world. God is a multi-dimensional being that is above all living things. He watches over all species in this world. Their planet became a live broadcast hall, and they are forced to fight for the amusement of the gods. In the future, the system congratulated Shisan for killing the remaining 99 players in this world and winning first place. He receives 1,000 coins as a reward. A total of 5,032 coins were received. He can spend this on improving equipment, skills, and attributes. The rules of live broadcasts are very cruel, since sometimes you have to fight demons, sometimes beasts, and sometimes among themselves. Humans became toys in the hands of the gods. After a few years, the number of native populations decreased significantly. By the time the Demon King died, only a tenth of humanity remained. Almost all animals and plants died out. 99% of water sources and soil became unusable. But then God began to feed human beings. Humans began to live in cages, just like animals in zoos. And the gods kept sending them to fight. Since the wild is no longer suitable for life, the cages protect the remaining survivors, who are given everything they need to survive. When he turned 10, he received his number, 13. He lived in the 12th park, in cage number 48. The children born after the death of the demon lord were called the war generation, and then they turned into slaves. Since God did not just support their lives, they were forced to create a show for them in order to have a chance to live. The planet changed a lot. They lived as if in the times of ancient Rome, when slaves fought wild animals to earn the favor of their masters. Therefore, all subsequent generations did only one thing. They sought to learn how to fight in order to kill their rivals. He is glad that he was still able to win the favor of the gods. He even managed to become a star player. So when he turned 18, he met an elder who can travel in time. He was once a member of the Hunter Association headquarters. He was given the task of going back 20 years and finding a fragment of an artifact that a god left on the planet thousands of years ago. He wants to use the fragments to gain access to the exit in 20 years. God, he really wants to go back to prevent the clash between demons and humans. He will go back 20 years and start a live broadcast. This is because 20 years ago, the planet was still prosperous, the human population was large, and God needs a lot of slaves for his show. And he wants to save as many people as possible. Instead of letting 100,000 people die in a war, it would be better to have everyone become God's slaves. After all, that way, they can at least survive. Before he went back to the past, the elder said that since everyone is dead in the future, why not at least try to save them in the past? Why not try to ignore the live broadcast and change the past so that we don't have to walk under the rule of the gods? It is better to fight against the demon lord than a wave of evil spirits. At present, Shisan, addressing the protagonist, said that it is a great honor for him to search for fragments with him. He had heard about it since childhood. It was much more comfortable here than in the future. He thought that he could try to change everything. But will a lion raised in a cage since childhood be able to resist his master? Then the demon suggested going home. He would introduce him to his teammates. He asked what home was. The demon said that it was less human than him. In the future, 20 years later, people have completely forgotten the meaning of the words home and hope. They have nowhere to go, since they do not know the way home. After some time, Shisan announced on the broadcast that he had finally reached the headquarters of the legendary Hunters Association. Now it is one of the most powerful organizations in the world. Forward. The gods continued to comment on the broadcast, and the protagonist's system reported that the progress of the attempt to hack Shisan's system was 10%. He said that the system is right. Shisan must also have a system that only he can see. The system said that the master is very smart. He added that he is wise and modest. Looking at the new team member, he said that he kept gesturing in the air. Any human would know that there was something wrong with him. The system reminded him that he was not a human. The worker watching them said that Li Hei's illness had spread to Qingfeng and the new guy. They were talking to themselves. Then the guys entered the room, and the demon said that it was time to introduce him to his teammates. They were very nice people. He thought they would become friends. Shisan thought that the Demon King was praising even humans. The rest of the teammates said in unison, "Hello, is this the new guy Qingfeng brought?" He greeted everyone and said that it was very nice here, just like home. Leah laughed and said that this place didn't feel like home. This is where the workers gathered, so it's not suitable at all. After all, it's much cozier and warmer at home than here. He laughed and said that he felt very comfortable here too. It was much warmer here than in his real life. Tiantian asked what he did in the past. She thought that it was important for each of them to live in a warm place, dress well, and never go hungry. Then life would be happy. He said that it was a place where they could eat and wear warm clothes every day. Thinking back to the past, he said that he also had a home. The protagonist thought, does he really have that too? Tiantian said that it was great, each of them had a home. Xiaokei asked, was he always alone? Never had any teammates? The word comrades caught Shisan's attention, and he remembered that in the competition, he had to kill his teammates. He said that he had many teammates. The protagonist thought, does he have comrades? Gao Hu said, since the captain brought him, they trust him. As long as they pursue the same goals, they will remain teammates. They believe that they will become the hope of all mankind. Shisan said that he believed that he would always be grateful to God and give everything he had. He hoped that the gods would come to this planet as soon as possible and save more people. Everyone should become God's pets. The Demon King thought that he believed that he would collect all 10 fragments, become invincible, and then destroy all of humanity. Then he thought that it was not worth talking about. After that, the team members crossed their arms and shouted that they would do their best to obtain the third fragment. The SS rank dungeon is an endless labyrinth. It is the largest and most intricate labyrinth, soaked in dark air. The third fragment is located in one of its parts. The labyrinth is very intricate, somewhat similar to the SS rank double mirror dungeon. It has very strict rules that must be obeyed. By the way, the top floor of the tower also has its own rules. The demon sitting on the top floor used blood blocking and unlimited magic power. Walking closer, Shisan said that the third fragment is here, but first they need to go through the labyrinth. Then he looked around and asked, "Where did so many people come from?" The protagonist said that there are about 100 entrances to the endless labyrinth, so dozens of teams can participate. Several hunters were talking among themselves. One of them said that 2 days ago on television, they said that fragments of the artifact will be in this dungeon. His colleague said that now everyone intends to get the fragment. He said that this is an SS rank dungeon. He does not think that even half of the teams can handle it. Many will die. Then the hunters turned their attention to Qingfeng and his team. Shisan grabbed his head and shouted, "Where did such an information leak come from?" His contribution was precisely to inform about the location of the artifact, but now he is useless. The protagonist put his hand on his shoulder and told him not to be upset. Since he had become their teammate, he would remain so until the end. If they fought side by side, they would definitely cope with everything. He said that he was very good. He would try his best. The protagonist thought, great, he was fooled. Then the demon came to the entrance and said that each team had chosen an entrance, so it was time to go. The artifact fragment was at the end of the labyrinth. Shisan asked where they would go. Shouldn't their team think about which entrance to choose? What if they reached a dead end? The demon said, "Stop talking." Shisan thought that he felt peace of mind next to the overlord. Is this why his comrades trusted him so much? After some time, they came to a fork and Tianqian asked where they would go. Xiaoke said that the rules were written here. They were approaching. The rules of the fork are, kill your teammates. Only the survivor will pass through. There are no wrong paths at this fork in the road. Shisan thought that he had to kill his comrades again. The rules had come into effect. There was a spell cast here now. Something had to be done. If they failed to complete the task, they might be trapped here forever. Should they kill each other? Gao Hu said the rules were still the same as before. Killing teammates? How boring. The newcomer thought, why were they just chatting? Didn't they understand how dangerous and hopeless the situation they were in was? What was Tianqian doing? Raising her hand to attack Xiaoke, so everyone was pretending to be relaxed in order to dull the other's vigilance and then attack. At this moment, Tianqian yawned and said that she was sleepy, that she needed to quickly complete the task and go home. She had baked cookies, but they were still languishing in the oven. He thought, why was she yawning? Did she even understand the situation they were in? Xiaoke's hand, what did he have there? He wants to hit Tianqian? He needs to stop him. Xiaoke said that he also had some milk and suggested that Gao Hu make ice cream. Shisan thought he even made a Demon Lord figurine. Why is he the only one who cares about the rules? Do they trust each other that much? Or is there some other reason? Xiaoke then handed him the ice cream and said that he was sweating profusely so he could try it. He must think that the weather is too hot right now? But winter is coming. He thanked him and said that he was scared so he was sweating cold sweat. He thought that they were treating him well and he didn't want to kill them. At this moment, MC stretched his joints and said that they weren't here for a walk. They needed to get the fragment. Shisan suggested that they come up with a plan. He thought that he didn't want them to die. He suggested that they think of another way, but the demon concentrated energy in his hand and said that there was no need for that. Then he sent a powerful beam of energy straight at the stele. He struck hard according to the rules. Shisan thought, what is he doing? And when the stele and the wall in front of them were destroyed, the Demon King said, who would even follow such idiotic rules? They will just break it. I wonder where they should go next. Shisan thought that he broke the rules. Why follow the rules at all? Was he born for this? For as long as he can remember, he has always lived as a slave to the god. The rule was simple, kill your loved ones, or kill your teammates, and also challenge the demon. The essence of the show is 3 hours of non-stop battles. The main goal is to amuse the god. And if a violator appears, he must be killed. They constantly did everything just to please the gods. like dolphins forced to jump from the water through a burning hoop. He, too, always followed the rules, and it never occurred to him that it was possible to jump not into a hoop but into the open sea. The MC said that if they didn't like the rules, they should just destroy them. After all, they were the strongest team. Then the demon once again sent a powerful beam of energy forward, destroying the stellies in its path. Shisen thought that the walls and steels were destroyed in one blow. He never thought that it was possible. In the face of a hopeless situation, he never had hope, so he could not even think about resisting. The demon rushes forward to fulfill its goal, sweeping away everything in its path. Did all the inhabitants of this era behave like this? They do not make choices within the rules, preferring to rely on their own opinions. As long as there is hope, they will never give up. Tiantian told him to follow Qingfeng, and in the meantime they will go to the other entrances to help the other participants. The rules are too strict. No one should die because of them. He thought that he was not trapped by a beast, but trapped by his own fears. Then he ran after the captain, and he thought that he was thinking about the past again. Yes, God sent him here, but who said that he must obey him now? Why not ignore the live broadcasts and try to change the future that awaits this era? Maybe prevent the development of events that will happen in 20 years? Then he told the elder that they have no hope. But now he sees it. He stretched out his hand to the demon and thought that he wanted to grab it with both hands and pave a new future for humanity. It is no wonder that after the comrades contacted the demon lord, they stopped fearing anything. Since the demon is the strongest and smartest in this world, only he can give such faith to others. Then he saw an empty chest and shouted, "Was the fragment stolen? Were they beaten to it?" He thought that he did not expect that the demon would not be able to get the fragment. Now the fate of each of them is unpredictable. The protagonist said, apparently, someone completed the task, got the reward, and then ran away. Shisan shouted that this was too fast. Then the demon suggested going back. As they walked forward, it was announced that the rule was fulfilled, and they could pass. Shisan said that someone was truly cruel to be able to do everything. Then they approached the entrance, and he shouted that their comrades were there. Coming closer, they saw bodies on the ground, and Tianqian said that the rules were declared fulfilled, since someone had already taken the fragment. Soon, it would no longer be valid. Fortunately, they arrived in time. Most of the hunters hesitated when they saw the rules, and they left without attacking each other. But the first team did something different. Xiaoke said that when they arrived at the first entrance, they saw that someone had completed the test, and all the remaining team members died. Shisan said that they had made quick decisions from the start. One of them killed all of their comrades, and then took the fragment. MC touched his chest and thought, where did this ominous feeling come from? Wasn't this the same person who would kill the Demon King in 2 months? After a while, the head of the Wuang family said that at this moment, the undercurrents continue to intensify. The struggle between demons and humans is becoming more intense, and it's time to distribute resources among the clans. A few thousand years ago, all the powerful people came from the Eastern clan, but after a few years, the East declined and the West continued to grow stronger. Fortunately, their master's ancestor, who lived 1,000 years ago, collected 10 fragments and sealed the demon tower. Thus, the Ouyang family's reputation was established, which they have maintained to this day. The Lin and Li families were born from the intermingling of the clans of the West and East, and both families have been gaining strength and advantages in recent years. But since the deaths of Zhang and Xiao, the Lin clan has begun to lag behind the Li family. Currently, the 6 major clans are going to fight for supremacy. Therefore, their families should speed up their preparations. The man said that the demon clan wants to rebuild the tower. Is it too dangerous to interact with other families now? His relatives said that heroes always appeared in the most troubled times. Thousands of years ago, a hero appeared in their family and then brought glory to the clan with his deeds. Therefore, they need heroes now more than ever. The old man said that in any case, the Hunter Association will oppose the demons. Therefore, it is too early for them to do anything. It is time to return the Ouyang family to the peak of their greatness. At this moment, a guard ran into the building and shouted that there was a strange man outside. A very strong one. Many guards were injured. The muscle man stood up from his seat and shouted, who dared to attack their family in broad daylight? The guard asked Ufeng, who is he, and why is he dressed so strangely? Then his body was bound by magic and he thought it was a curse. Ufeng said that only 1,000 years had passed and the family had already deflated. They are too weak. The guards noticed the artifact fragment in the guest's blade. One of them shouted that he was the mysterious hunter who got the fragment from the labyrinth. Ufeng asked, Hunter? So that's what cultivators are called now. They can call him Ancestor. The leader ran outside and shouted, is this really him, the hero who got 10 artifact fragments 1,000 years ago? The guy said that the legend says that Wuang mysteriously disappeared after sealing the tower. Did he travel through time? He asked how he would prove that Wuang was him. The cultivator said that he had nothing to prove, because they themselves knew that their family needed a strong man now. Only he could help. That was enough. His name was Ouyang Wuang. He teleported through time 1,000 years ahead. If every moment in history has its own hero, then he would be it in this one. In his time, the era was considered very turbulent. Wars were everywhere. Indignation and fear led to the fact that demons became very powerful creatures. And then he was born, Wuang. He began to cultivate from childhood, and then began to lead a group of immortal cultivators to attack the demonic tower together. Later, he learned that the demon lord could not be killed by simple methods, so he went in search of artifact fragments to at least seal the demonic tower. But in order to save the vast majority of people, someone had to give up their life. The path to success was very difficult. When he came to, all his comrades were already dead. It turned out that the method of saving everyone was the most ruthless of all. He remembers rushing to the demonic tower with 10 fragments of the artifact, and then thunder roared in the sky, and he was already in this millennium. He said that God sent him to their time to help them complete the mission of saving mere mortals. He sat on the throne and said that they must collect the 10 fragments of the artifact of their era, and then reseal the tower. He only has 2 goals. First, to return the first 2 fragments. The leader said that the first 2 fragments were taken away by the association. They are currently in the custody of Captain Qingfeng. He heard that he is a very righteous person, so nothing will happen to them. Wuang said that people are too unpredictable. No one can be called righteous. The old man said that everyone has 7 emotions and 6 main desires that people will do anything for. The artifact fragments will only be safe if they end up in his possession. Besides, they don't know the origin of this Qingfeng, so he has a bad feeling about him. The leader shouted, "Is he really going to take the fragments from Qingfeng? He's a hero. They'll be laughed at if they do that." The ancestor said that the most ruthless way to save everyone is the most ruthless. Reputation is nothing. He then disappeared into the floor, leaving behind a small glow. The leader said that if their family gets the fragments, they will become great again. At this time, the association team was advancing. Leah said that someone dared to steal the 3rd fragment from under their noses. Shisan said that they should go back. He still wants to eat cookies. The next second, the Demon King sensed something was wrong and asked, "Who?" His team members were enveloped in alien energy, and Shisan shouted, "What a strange way to attack." They couldn't move, and the protagonist said, "Is this really a technique of a cultivator who lived 1,000 years ago?" Yin and Yang energy, talismans. Everything suddenly appeared. At this moment, Wuang grabbed Tiantian by the back of the neck and she screamed in pain. Xiaoke shouted for him to let go. MC thought he guessed right. This person is Wuang, a cultivator who lived about 1,000 years ago. In 2 months he will be the one to kill the Demon King. Wuang, turning to Qingfeng, told him to hand over the fragments to him or he will kill her. Shisan thought, isn't this the same scene where Tiantian first meets the demon? What will he choose? The Demon Lord? At this time, the gods watching the broadcast continued their discussion. Shisan thought that there was a new reason for the gods to be happy. Only grief can make money. The demon said, so he was the one who got the artifact fragment and killed his teammates without hesitation. He thought that the artifact fragment was implanted in the blade. It was better to stay away from it. Tiantian shouted for the captain to ignore her. They had worked so hard to get the fragments. You shouldn't give it away so easily. Then Wuang squeezed her throat harder and asked, can she still talk? The main character said that he didn't have the fragments, he hid them. Besides, she wasn't that important. He could kill her. Wuang said, great, the strong don't need feelings. It seems like they're the same. He should remember his name. He'll give him a day to think about it, then he should come to Ouyang's house to exchange her or take her body. Xiaoke shouted, Captain, he saved her a few months ago, and he won't abandon her this time, right? Shisan told him to calm down. The artifact fragments are very important. Besides, they can't be sure that Tiantian won't be harmed. Maybe he's just intimidating them. Leah shouted that she'll use her family's power to think of something. Gaohu shouted that his family has influence too. The demon said not to worry, he'll go to the Wuang family tomorrow. Walking away from his comrades, he asked, how are they similar? They're completely different. Xiaoke asked, what does the captain mean by that? Leah said that's exactly what he meant. He'll never give up on Tiantian. Gaohu asked the newcomer where he was going. He shouted that he would find someone. The comments kept popping up in his system, and he thought, screw the fragments. He had to find a way to stop them from fighting. If the Demon Lord was injured, humanity would enter a large-scale war. After all, the demon didn't know that it would be Wuang who would kill him. At this time, in the Demon Tower, The demon from the future said, as he had already realized, it would be Wuang who would seriously injure him in 2 months. In addition, his newcomer was not from this timeline. He had never seen him before. The development of events would be completely different now. He couldn't predict it. The protagonist said, it seemed like he also had the makings of a protagonist. The Demon King said that he had decided to return to the magic tower to retrieve the fragments and save Tiantian. In any case, he already knew about Wuang's appearance. With that, he threw the fragments to him. The protagonist caught it and asked, doesn't he know what their greatest advantage is? He thinks he's going to save someone? He's planning to kill Tiantian. The future demon said it. That's it. Tiantian is the only one who knows his true identity. He should have killed her a long time ago, so it was a mistake for Wuang to have chosen to capture her. MC said it was true. And tomorrow's exchange was just a small cover. He would kill everyone in the Ouyang household indiscriminately. After all, Tiantian is the senior hunter of the association, and if she dies, the association will have friction with the rest of the Ouyang family. They will kill each other in an internal struggle. He is the Lord of Demons, and nothing less can be expected from him. His future version said it was true. He is a different version of him. Wuang will never be able to predict his actions. He should remember that it is better not to quarrel with Wuang. His strength is incomprehensible. The protagonist walked to the exit and said that he will keep an eye on his artifact fragments. The future demon wished that he did not die. They must wait for him to fully recover. The next day, the MC came to Ouyang and holding the fragments in his hand, said that he came to ransom her. Then he winced in horror when he saw that Tiantian, covered in blood, was sitting in a cage. Walking up to the bars, she said with a smile, Captain, she knew that he would come to save her. Then one of the subordinates hit Tiantian with a whip when Wuang said that he did not like chatterboxes, but she still did not shut up. So he decided to calm her down. The subordinate struck again with a whip and shouted, how difficult it is to work with a hunter from the association. It seems like a girl, but somehow impenetrable. He is already tired of beating. The demon thought that she did not reveal his true identity, remained faithful despite the beatings. He clenched his fist and said that he would save her. Then he threw the fragments to the enemy, and he said how weak he is. Qingfeng. Did he really decide to exchange the fragments for the girl? Trash. Then he ordered to let her go. Exhausted, Tiantian fell into the protagonist's arms and said that she did not tell them anything. He saved her. She did not want to set him up. He said that he knew. Suddenly he felt a sharp headache, and Wuang, looking at the fragments in his hand, said, great, he has 3. It's time to find the 4th. Then he turned around and the next second, the protagonist's fist hit him right in the face, causing him to fly back. The old man shouted, how dare he touch their ancestor? The demon asked, can't they see? He is killing him. After some time, Tiantian opened her eyes and saw Xiaoke in front of her. He lifted her by the shoulders and said that except for the newcomer who went missing, everyone had come to save her. They set up an ambush outside and then waited for the captain's instructions. At this time, the old man, concentrating energy in his hands, shouted, Qingfeng, how dare he touch their ancestor? Their Ouyang family, more than 10,000 people, will not let this go. The protagonist raised his hand and asked, 10,000? Too weak. Then he snapped his fingers and the military appeared on the roofs around. He said that times have changed. The next second, bullets flew at the targets, but the old man managed to create a shield, and the bald man behind him shouted that there were people from the Li and Ling families. Then missiles were dropped from planes flying nearby. Li Ya, sitting inside the plane, said that even though they were hunters, bullets should still be feared. Even the most avid hunters will not be able to withstand technology. The Ling family, a room for launching long-range missiles. Gao Hu pressed the red button and shouted, fire on the Ouyang family. A huge missile exploded in the right place. Those who saw the explosion did not understand what was happening. A passerby said that it was somewhere near the Ouyang family. They said that the Li and Ling families had conspired to attack the Ouyang clan. The leader asked, they attacked to save a comrade, right? Tiantian ran to her friends, and Li Ya said that they had dealt with the Ouyang family. Gao Hu said that everything was fine, it was easy. Xiaoke, turning to his friend, said that according to the captain's plan, the attack on the clan would begin immediately after she was released. This was the second plan, but he did not know the first one. She said that the captain was very kind. MC looked around at this moment and thought, where is Wuang? He could not have disappeared so easily. At this moment, Wuang threw down several talismans and shouted, Earth! Demon thought that there was some movement underground. The next second, the earthen plates rose into the air. Li Ya, turning to the military, ordered them to go save the captain. Gao Hu said that modern weapons can no longer play any role in the competition between the best hunters. The old man shouted to his ancestor that Qingfeng harbored a grudge, he must be destroyed. The cultivator looked at the powerful energy bursting out from the demon's hand. The MC thought that the situation was not good. Wu Feng was the best opponent he had ever faced. In order to hide Qingfeng's identity, he could only use the ability of a hunter and could not reveal his magical power, so he was unable to reveal his full power. The cultivator at this moment used a technique called Endless Life, releasing several branches of thorny vines. The demon thought, poison? Could this be one of the 5 elements lost several millennia ago? He deserves to be the one who almost killed him. Then the cultivator used a technique called Unbreakable Gold. Many different types of weapons pointed their barrels at the Demon King. He thought that he could not defeat him as a hunter. Then the cannons began to fire and the guys shouted in alarm, "Captain!" Wu Feng looked at the protagonist's spells being broken in surprise. The demon thought that he couldn't go on like this any longer, but if he revealed his magic power in front of the public, tens of thousands of people would be killed. He would have to return to the magic tower. The cultivator addressed him and said that he remembered his name and that he was great, but he was no match for him. He then crossed the fire incarnation and water renewal techniques. The city's residents were screaming, "What's going on? The water is spilling. The city is flooding. They must flee." The demon looked at the fire and water dragons approaching him when Wu Feng said that the end of an era always requires some sacrifices. He then thought, is he the devil? The protagonist thought that he couldn't hide his power any longer. The elemental creatures were approaching the Demon King, and the next second there was an explosion. The old man cried out, "It worked!" Wu Feng thought that it was not so, although he could not see it clearly, but there was some kind of power that repelled his attack. MC thought that he had to, even if only for a moment, still use his magic power to repel the attack. The cultivator thought, demonic power? He must have resorted to forbidden demonic techniques to increase his strength. Like the boy from the Ling family, he chose to part with the days of his life to gain greater strength. It was sad that there were such people. The demon said that in order to deal with him, he decided to use a powerful and deadly formation to kill him. But in the end, only his people suffered. He thought that it seemed like he did not suspect anything yet. Of course, no one would ever imagine that the great demon lord would walk around in human form. Wu Feng shouted, "Ignorant." He was just warming up. It's time to really deal with him. The purple golden jug of ordinary quality is the greatest immortal artifact from 1,000 years ago. Once you use it, all of the opponent's power will be absorbed in an instant. The cultivator told Qingfeng that he was the first worthy opponent in so many years he will remember his name. He swung the jug and shouted that he will let him approach him. At this moment, the demon approached him and concentrated energy in his fist, hitting the opponent, causing him to fly back. He thought, what's wrong? Shouldn't the jug have absorbed his power? Broken? Then the protagonist hit the opponent again and thought, his name is not really Qingfeng? Who is he? The protagonist thought that he expected nothing less from Wu Feng, who had collected 10 pieces of the artifact. This was the strongest person he had ever met. To kill him, he would have to use demonic power. He would have to reveal his identity. Since there was a threat that Wu Feng would kill him in the future, he needed to be faster. The cultivator thought that he would use his strongest weapon, which had fragments of the artifact implanted into it, and he would fight to the end. Powerful auras were ready to fight, when suddenly the association president shouted for them to stop. Wu Feng thought that the effect of his technique had stopped, and the protagonist thought that he had already experienced a similar feeling when he met Fen. The awakened ability of the association leader, in the field, it causes all the abilities of those around him to be suppressed. He asked what they were doing. They should be fighting demons, not each other. They should stop. Shisan thought that he had made it in time after all. Fortunately, he managed to prevent the demon lord from dying in this duel, otherwise the war between demons and humans would have started much earlier. The god hadn't entered yet, so humans could still escape. Tiantian said that he was good. She knew he would think of something. But the captain would still kill Wu Feng. The demon shouted, old man, he should cancel his technique so he could finish off this cosplayer. The cultivator said to mind his own business. He would get to this person anyway. The president said to listen carefully. If they continued to act like this, they would both die, and they would lose powerful allies. They had better do something truly useful. The association president noted that for many years, the association had been looking for ways to help in the fight against the demons. In addition to sealing the magic tower, they decided to try to summon the Protoss to use them in the battle against the demons. The protagonist asked, didn't they retire 1,000 years ago? Wu Feng wondered if the Protoss really no longer exist in this world. The association president said that since ancient times, humans and demons have been constantly fighting. Now, they only need one fragment of the artifact to open the Protoss portal. The history books say that if they manage to open the portal, the Protoss will come to help them in the fight. Since obtaining the first fragment, they have been constantly searching for the portal. And finally, thanks to the information provided by Shisan, they learned of the portal's location. Now the association will issue valuable quests that will greatly help in their advancement. Therefore, they must join forces and enter the SSS rank dungeon. Wuang stated that he knew about it, so he agreed to go there. He thought that in his era, the Protoss were much more powerful than demons and humans. If they came, then the demons would definitely end. The protagonist thought that it would be great if he could convince the Protoss to work with the demons, so he also agreed to go. Shisan knew that the information in the book was a fake, which the Protoss deliberately left in this world 1,000 years ago to force the demons and humans to open a portal. In fact, if the portal opened, the Protoss would not help anyone. Instead, they would enslave all life on the planet and become the new masters. But now the portal will open 5 years earlier because of his actions. He takes into account the fact that demons and humans have not yet entered into a war, so humanity will be able to survive and wait for enslavement, which means everyone will become slaves. MC thanked Shisan for the information. The protagonist thought that he regretted that he could not see his system, but he himself shared valuable information with them, although he wants to understand what his true purpose is. Wuang understood that Qingfeng was not his true identity, and he recognized him as a strong opponent who could use demonic techniques. He was very curious about who he really was. The three of them were publicly playing too fake a friendly atmosphere. Even the association president said that they were overdoing it. After a while, in the elders' hall, the association president said to Shisan that it was because of the elders that he finally decided to trust his information. Then the elder said that he really came back from the future. He has an amazing ability. He wants to know what Shisan can tell them. After all, he is very well informed about everything. Shisan thought that in 20 years, the elder's face will change dramatically, because then he will already be captured by the Protoss. Like all the surviving people of that time, his heart and mind will be devastated. He wants the Protoss to descend as soon as possible and enslave humanity. However, is he thinking correctly? The Elder of Absolute Order used his abilities, and a system window appeared informing him that a new system had been discovered in Shisan's body and was currently being analyzed. He then said that this time he would like to personally challenge the dungeon and finally take on a new appearance. Later, in a coffee shop, Wuang decided to use the Immortals technique, telepathy, to inform the Wuang family of everything that had happened before tomorrow's mission. This is an ancient technique that was previously used to transmit secret messages. Shisan said that he was straining himself too much. He could use a phone, which is what most people use now for quick communication. Wuang was surprised that people were able to invent something for communication, which made him like this era. Shisan noted that now is a wonderful time, even the water is almost clean. Although in 20 years, there will be no clean water left, and it will become a luxury, so he will value water. Wuang asked if he should break the phone. The coffee shop staff thought they were strange customers, but recognized them as those who were going to a dangerous dungeon tomorrow to search for a portal. The protagonist thought that everything was really bad with them. Why did he look more normal than them? He was a demon lord. Although he was good at studying the daily life of people, the staff shouted at the protagonist that they were asking him to get off the roof and sit at the table. At this moment, all three thought that this was a wonderful time. Unexpectedly, Wuang choked on his coffee and shouted, "Why does it taste so terrible?" MC and Shisan agreed that Wuang would get used to this taste. After a while, the news announced that the passage of the SSS rank dungeon quest would be broadcast live. Viewers will be able to follow their favorites. The president of the Hunters Association himself suggested holding a live broadcast. Since this is a very dangerous test that will also become the true future of humanity, hunters will be able to gain valuable experience and give hope to the citizens. Tiantian and Xiaokei, members of Team Qingfeng, will act as hosts. The two of them will help viewers understand the progress of the participants. Tiantian said that according to research, the SSS rank dungeon is located in an ancient city. This is the place where the Protoss and artifacts were first discovered. Thousands of years ago, real heroes lived in this place, but now everything has changed. The nobles began to oppress the common people living in those lands, so the economy and average standard of living dropped significantly. A lot of dead souls were created, thanks to which the monopolization continued. As a result, battles began, because of which countless people died. The discontent of the inhabitants accumulated day by day. Life became unbearable. After which the city fell, the people died, and negative energy remained in these lands. Over the past 10 years, anyone who dared to enter those lands died. According to the latest information, the Protoss portal is located in the area under which the SSS rank dungeon is located. Xiaoke noted that the number of viewers of their broadcast has exceeded 1 billion. And now they must look at the brave people who risked going on a dangerous mission. Now viewers can see that all the hunters have gathered at the entrance to the underground city gate. Since this is an SSS rank dungeon, the passage will clearly not be easy, so each of the association has been implanted with a special chip, thanks to which they will be able to track the location and condition of each participant. In addition, viewers can leave messages in real time, discuss the strategy and actions of their favorites. Tiantian reported that the participants are starting to enter the dungeon. Now the quest officially begins for 300 hunters. Then the host announced that the bad news was that all the hunters who were teleported to the city were randomly scattered throughout the SSS rank dungeon. They should hope that the hunters could find their comrades and safely pass this test. Viewers can pay attention to the photo. The hunter had just been randomly teleported to the alley of the City of Evil Spirits, and he was currently looking around vigilantly. A window appeared informing that this was Gi Long, his level was B rank, and his team name was Sanya 3. Note, has been a member of the Hunter Association for 12 years, has completed 1 A rank building, 12 B rank quests, and 56 C rank and below quests. Viewers discussed on the live broadcast, why would a B rank hunter try his luck in an SSS rank dungeon? According to rumors, this dungeon has its own hidden rules, but he will still have to try hard. After a while, a new window appeared with information about the monster, that the name of this creature is Executioner, rank is B rank. Note, there is currently a lot of information about it. It is often seen in the City of Evil Spirits. It was a warrior who was executed while alive. Viewers sent messages on the live broadcast that they found this monster scary, and Hunter Long should immediately run away from it. The Executioner monster said that he must leave a part of his body, otherwise he will die. Long ran in panic from the monster that was chasing him. The viewers were terrified of this sight, and they were even more scared by the thought of seeing the final boss of this dungeon. The monster stabbed the hunter in the back. The hosts reported that according to the information of hundreds of hunters who are currently challenging monsters, they urgently need support. The evil spirits of this dungeon live by sucking blood. It seems that some kind of curse has been cast on the monsters, which prevents them from living a normal life. The SSS rank dungeon challenge has exceeded all expectations. It is time to begin to mourn the brave hunters. In any case, the information they will receive as a result of passing the dungeon will be very important to everyone. But thanks to the chips that the hunters have, they will be able to complete the tasks more easily. It is time to show another candidate. A window appeared with information about the monster, whose name is Evil Princess. Her level is A rank. Note, this ghost often appears in the City of Evil Spirits. In life, she was a kind princess whom everyone loved, but when the city was exterminated, she was betrayed and died the most miserable death. She asks questions to choose from, but no one knows the right answer, so you should answer her as your heart tells you. The monster asked, turning to the hunters, do they love her? The audience discussed the terrible appearance of the princess. The hunters couldn't decide on the answer, while viewers sent messages on the live broadcast that they should run away, because there was no right answer. The evil princess bit the hunter's neck and demanded that he prove his love for her. Tianchen said that these scenes were too bloody. Currently, according to the Elder's chip, 27 out of 300 hunters were killed in just 3 minutes. The death toll continues to rise. They need to pray for the dead. Xiaoke believed that the information they received was very valuable to them. The City of Evil Spirits, once called the City of God, is the capital of the kingdom. Later, due to the cruel rule of the tyrant king, the people found it unbearable to live in such conditions, and eventually the people overthrew the rule of the royal family. However, after the death of the tyrant king, the ancestor who turned into an evil spirit cursed the city, so after death, people began to turn into evil spirits and could never live a peaceful life again. Perhaps the boss of this SSS rank dungeon is an evil spirit, and as the former owner of this dungeon, he knows the location of the portal. They transferred this key information to the chip of each hunter who is on the front lines to help them better cope with the quest. But now, all the remaining hunters have been attacked by evil spirits. It's time for them to watch the next hunter. A window appeared with information about a hunter Shisan with an unknown strength level who is a member of the Qingfeng team. Note, he is a newbie who has just joined the Hunter Association and has no experience in fighting or missions. Viewers wrote that this newbie is crazy to challenge an SSS rank dungeon. Some hoped that his death would not be painful. Shisan asked where he was teleported to. The host said that he is a newbie from their team. They will look forward to his performance. A window appeared with information about the monster Crazy Nurse, A rank. Note, this monster can often be seen in the city of evil spirits. In life, she was a conscientious nurse, but after the civil war in the city, the number of people who died in the war increased day by day. She could no longer bear it when patients began to die one after another, which made her despondent and locked herself in the morgue. She began to stitch up dead bodies in an attempt to look into the soul. The crazy nurse asked the hunter Shisan to help her find it. The viewers were horrified by the appearance of this evil spirit. And then they wrote that they thought Shisan was an idiot who laughed in such a situation and even agreed to help this evil spirit. Shisan said that for him, this task was easy peasy. The viewers did not understand, where did such a person come from in the Qingfeng team? Shisan was surprised that he could not find the key in the bodies. The viewers wrote that they thought he was worse than evil spirits. Even the monster felt sick from such a sight. After a while, Shisan realized where the key might be. All that was left was to search the crazy nurse's body. The audience asked, was the key really in the nurse's body all this time? The audience was frightened by this hunter's actions. Then Shisan found the key and declared that he was now a full-fledged candidate. A system window appeared, in which the gods were bored by this sight. When will they be sent to this beautiful planet? They themselves want to destroy the Earth. After a while, Tianqian reported on the broadcast that their team was normal. They were a kind and peaceful team. Xiaoke noted that this was a very terrible scene, so they should look at the other hunters. Wuang was preparing to fight the evil spirit in armor. The audience wrote that this was not a hunter at all, but a cultivator. The monster said that he had destroyed many cultivators in his time. He should give him his heart. Wuang used the immortal cultivator technique, secret space. The audience wrote, did he really take out a firearm? And is he reading the instructions at the same time? A window appeared with information about Wuang with an unknown level from the Qingfeng team. Note, this is a newbie who has just joined the Hunter Association, has no combat or mission history. The audience was surprised that this cultivator was fighting and studying at the same time. Wuang said that times have changed when he attacked the evil spirit. The audience wrote that they thought it was impossible for a cultivator to use a firearm. The monster asked, did he really believe that such a thing could harm him? It is impossible to defeat him with fire and a blade. The audience wrote that this is an A-rank evil spirit. Firearms did not affect him at all. This newbie must run away from this monster. Unexpectedly, the monster received devastating damage. The evil spirit did not understand how this cultivator could cause such powerful damage. Wuang said that he used magic on a firearm. The bullets in the firearm were soaked in various concoctions for many hours to produce the desired effect. The cultivator finished off the evil spirit with shots from the firearm. Tiantian said that she had just received a message from the audience backstage, asking if their team possessed deities. Other people asked if they were in a sect. Some even claimed that they had escaped from a mental hospital. Xiaoke said that he wanted to emphasize that their team was peaceful. To prove this, they asked to transfer the live broadcast to their team captain, Qingfeng. A window appeared with information about the hunter, Qingfeng. His level is equal to the S rank. He is the captain of his team. Note, he has successfully completed the following quests: 8 SS rank quests, 26 S rank quests, 109 A rank quests, 12 B rank quests, and 9 quests that are C rank or lower. The audience wrote, is he really only an S rank? The other team is much higher in level. Even though he has already completed 8 SS rank quests, Tianchan said that this is their team captain. He has the best rating in the world. He is a kind, fair, peaceful, and gentle person. The audience agreed that he looks like a kind and righteous guy. The host said that they should appreciate how Captain Qingfen uses his wisdom and strategy to challenge this dungeon. An evil princess appeared in front of the protagonist and wanted to ask a question, but to the surprise of the audience, he captured the evil spirit himself. The MC said that he will only ask this monster one question. The audience wrote that he looks very evil. Their team is full of idiots. They already advised the monster to run away from this hunter. The evil princess said using her powers that this pathetic person will pay for everything. Then she asked why his lifespan has no end. The protagonist noted that she talks too much. The protagonist thought after hitting the monster that this evil spirit is not very smart. He is the demon lord. It can't be otherwise. The SSS rank dungeon formed an independent space, and it does not belong to the magic tower. Even the demon lord did not know about this place, which was not good news for him. The protagonist decided to pull the dungeon to the magic tower to increase the demon's power. The protagonist grabbed the monster and asked what retribution she was talking about. Viewers wrote that they began to sympathize with the evil spirit. The evil princess admitted her mistake. He can ask her about anything he wants. The audience thought the evil princess was beautiful. which made them want to save the monster's life. MC asked, what is the truth about the Fermi paradox? How to prove the Goldbach conjecture? What is her opinion about the Riemann hypothesis? The audience wrote that now they understand why everyone in his team is so crazy. The evil princess asked him to kill her instead. Qingfeng said that in that case she should tell everything she knows about this city. The evil princess begged him to stop pinching her. She agreed to tell everything. The audience loved this spectacle, and they asked the captain of the Qingfeng team to continue doing so. Then the evil spirits told the Qingfeng team that this place used to be called the City of God. Legend has it that a divine messenger came to this city. But in reality, due to the tyranny of her great-grandfather and the first king, the people of this city are in dire straits, and the wars cannot stop. One day, a hero came to the city and helped the citizens rebel. War and poverty engulfed the entire city. Even in the morgue, there are corpses left over from the war. Later, the nameless hero was also defeated, leaving the city full of the old, sick and weak. But the people believed in his power. The nameless soul is still in this city, and one day he will see the sun again and lead everyone to overthrow the power of the king. According to rumors, after the death of the first king, his soul turned into the boss of this city, and he cursed this place. They remain his servants forever, like the bloody moon that cannot leave the horizon. At first, evil spirits in the city appeared by chance. Gradually there were more of them than people, and hundreds of years later, this place was considered a city of evil spirits. Wuang destroyed the evil spirit, saying that it was not of his race, so he would not spare it. At this time, Shisan opened the door with a key and asked the crazy nurse to leave. The evil spirit asked, is he really letting her go? Is he really not going to destroy her? After all, she is an evil spirit, not a human. Shisan said that they are all indigenous people of the planet, and they have their own positions and views. Why should they kill each other? His greatest wish is world peace. After a while, viewers wrote that they were touched by this. Now they treat Qingfeng better. The protagonist asked why she follows him. Viewers agreed that the evil princess had changed a lot. Did he really manage to tame the evil spirit? The evil princess said that she thinks he is very strong and has a good character. She wants to become his follower, support him and help him become the new ruler of this city. Then another evil spirit appeared on the horizon with a weapon in his hands. The audience was looking forward to a new spectacle, although some were worried about the monster. They noticed how the evil princess advised her fellow evil spirit to run away from him. The executioner said that he must leave some organ for him, otherwise he will die. The audience was sure that the evil spirit would definitely lose. The protagonist abruptly struck the monster. Tiantian reported that Qingfeng disarmed the opponent. Here he is, the true captain. The executioner noted that he asked him for a body part, not his own. The audience wrote that the evil spirit should start praying that they will not meet in the next life. They have never seen evil spirits so afraid of people. The MC asked him to tell where the boss of this place is now. The audience noted that Qingfeng has a scary smile. However, they still considered him attractive. The executioner said that the evil spirit of the king had settled in the royal palace, but he himself should know that he would not be able to get in. No one can enter the king's domain. At this time, in the dungeon, evil spirits were killing other hunters, demanding their flesh and blood. Suddenly the protagonist appeared, riding a horse ablaze in the fire. Viewers wrote that they were sure that the hero would definitely appear, despite the raging flames. Although others were outraged that the broadcast only showed Team Qingfeng. Then they noted the confusion of the evil spirit, who noticed the escort of this hunter. The evil princess and the executioner invited Dullahan to join their squad to destroy the king. Viewers liked this behavior from the evil spirits. After some time, on the broadcast of the SSS-ranked dungeon, Tianjin reported that they currently received very valuable information. The soul of the king, the boss of this dungeon, is in the palace. He is most likely the one controlling everything in the dungeon. After the exciting battle, they have 83 hunters left who can continue to fight. 79 were killed, and 139 were recalled. Xiaoku reminded that their most popular team, the Fire Dragon, just temporarily withdrew from the tournament because they received another SSS-ranked task. Currently, according to the results of their audience's votes, Qingfeng is second only to the Fire Dragon in popularity. Now they will switch the live broadcast screen from the Fire Dragon team to the screen of the Qingfeng team member. Tiantian said that the viewers can see Qingfeng defeating evil spirits one by one. The viewers wrote that he took the spear from the monster. Now, all the evil spirits will hate him. Tiantian noted that their captain is invincible in the city of evil spirits due to his strength. The viewers wrote that the SSS rank is considered the highest. Where did he get such power? The armored evil spirit said that he admired the strong, so he willingly surrendered to him without a fight. He would follow him and support him as the new king of this place. The host said that the evil spirits were bowing to him. The audience said that it felt like Qingfeng was like the real boss of this place. Tiantian said that Captain Qingfeng was gradually approaching the palace and he was forming an entire army of evil spirits. A squad of evil spirits was born, but its leader was a human. The popularity of the Qingfeng team far exceeded the popularity of the Fire Dragon team, who left the dungeon. Now they could only look forward to Qingfeng's next performance. Will he be able to find the king's spirit? After a while, the crazy nurse said that she had not been to the outside world for a long time. However, the moon was still the same. Suddenly, she saw the protagonist on a horse, and then her body was scattered by other evil spirits who swore allegiance to Qingfeng. The crazy nurse said that it was very difficult for her to restore her body. What's going on? She had just come out and already got into trouble. She then asked, is this man really going to lead the great evil spirits to challenge the king? Does he really want to free the souls of this city? She remembered that she had seen the same hero from behind before. She didn't care if he was a human or a spirit, she just hoped that he was their savior. After a while, in the deepest part of the dungeon, Divine City, the evil spirits were fleeing from Shisan, who was called Scary Man. Shisan asked why he didn't see the Scary Man. He thought that these were the data files of the prisoners in the dungeon. He learned that the Nameless Heroes' rebellion had failed. They were secretly imprisoned in the deepest part of the fourth prison. Shisan wondered if his soul remained here after his death. Suddenly, something really surprised him. After some time in the library of the Divine City, Wu Feng destroyed the evil spirits on the way, and thought that, according to the legends of later generations, during the cruel reign of the first king, a natural vision hung over the entire city, the Blood Moon. However, the legend also says that during the time of the first ruler, a divine savior came to this city, and it was supposed to become a portal. He was intrigued by the vision and the blood moon that are in the sky. Is it because of the cruel reign of the king, or because of the portal of the Protoss? Or is there a third option? He believes that he will find the answers only here. At this time, the evil spirits fought with the hunters, and they said that it was better for people to continue to enjoy the sun's rays. However, unfortunately, now people are doomed to rot with them in this city. The hunters ran away in panic from the evil spirit, who struck with his large hammer. Suddenly, the protagonist blocked the blow of the evil spirit with a spear throw. The hunters turned their attention to the protagonist, who was showing off on the roof of the building. The MC said that the evil spirit shouldn't have done that. It would be better for him to follow him, then he would find peace and freedom. The audience was amazed by Qingfeng, who appeared like a real cool hero. After a while, the evil spirit said that the hunters and evil spirits should not stand aside. They should join Qingfeng's team, because this is their only way to survive. The viewers wrote on the live screen that they wished them luck and success in their endeavor. They must fight together and find the portal. The hunters asked, so they created an army of evil spirits and a hunter, so they can fight together. But who is their leader? After a while, Tianqian announced that after several days of exciting battles, the hunters successfully found the king. They will soon defeat the boss and find the portal. And all this is thanks to Qingfeng's leadership. He stopped the fight between the lower evil spirits and the hunters, joined forces, and together they attacked the king. Now, in the team ranking, the number of likes of the Qingfeng team has greatly exceeded the number of likes of the Fire Dragon team. Regarding the sympathy of the viewers for the challenger, Qingfeng has surpassed Gu Yan, the captain of the Fire Dragon team. And now it's time to cheer for the hunters who are fighting bravely. After a while, the broadcast screen showed the royal palace in the Divine City. The viewers wrote that a great battle is about to begin. Although they had not seen the other members of Qingfeng's team for a long time, Tiantian reported that under Qingfeng's leadership, almost all the hunters had allied themselves with the evil spirits. His army chanted that they would definitely defeat the king and free their souls. The protagonist thought that he was not interested in freeing the evil spirits. First, he would defeat the dungeon boss, and then he would conquer this place to make the demons much stronger. However, where did Wu Feng and Shisan go? He found it suspicious. The host reported that it was rumored that thousands of years ago, this sculpture of the king was attacked by people angry at the king's cruel rule. The audience thought this statue was frightening and worth burning. Tianqian reported that at present, this place has become a dead city. The people have turned into evil spirits. But they still harbor hatred for this sculpture that has been here for thousands of years. The protagonist ordered his army to attack and defeat the king. The audience wished them victory over this SSS rank boss. Dalhan noted that the king was in this hall, but it was very dangerous. They had to be on guard. No human being had been able to enter the hall for thousands of years. After the hunters touched the portal, they would immediately die. The audience wondered how an evil spirit without a head could speak. Dullahan said that evil spirits could not enter there either. MC asked, so this portal absorbs energy? However, he wants to try to go through this portal. The audience was convinced that the members of Team Qingfeng are crazy. Dullahan shouted that when the spell collapses, an explosion will occur. The audience wrote, is Qingfeng using some secret techniques? Then the protagonist said that he was done and they can go in. The audience praised Team Qingfeng, which was better than Team Fire Dragon. The protagonist thought that their opinion would change very soon. After a while, in the throne room, a window appeared with information about the evil spirit, that it is an SSS rank dungeon boss, evil spirit of the king. The king was a sinner in life, and after death, he became an evil spirit that rules the city. His true level is in the process of being assessed. The evil spirit of the king asked who dared to come to him. The army of the Qingfeng team shouted that this ugly monster is the king that they must destroy. The audience wrote, why are there still no other members of the Qingfeng team? The evil spirit of the king stopped the enemies with a snap of his finger, and then with a blow of his staff, he threw everyone away from himself. The audience wrote that he is definitely an SSS rank who can use several skills at once. The hunters said that they are no match for this boss. If they come closer, they will definitely die. The audience realized that even with numbers, this boss cannot be defeated. Some would rather look at the team, Fire Dragon. However, where did Qingfeng go? At this time, the evil princess asked the protagonist what he was thinking. The protagonist said that it was not an evil spirit, but a demon. According to current information, the soul controlled the city after the king's death, but it was not just a spirit. It was a real demon. The evil princess noted that demons were created due to people's fear and negative emotions about certain aspects. Her great-grandfather was a human, so it would be impossible for him to become a demon. He would only be able to turn into an undead after death. Is he really sure of his statements? MC said that it did not matter to him whether it was a demon or an undead, he would simply destroy this boss. Qingfeng thought that if an SSS-ranked dungeon was left without a boss, then there would be no one to lead it. And then the dungeon would choose the strongest one to rule this place, which would make him the boss of this dungeon. He only had to defeat the boss, and then the dungeon would be under his control. The evil spirit of the king used a debuff on his opponents, who screamed in horror and wanted to escape from there. Viewers wrote that the evil spirits, who are already dead, run away, afraid of death. Isn't it funny? They should have fought for their destiny. Suddenly, the protagonist dealt a crushing blow to the boss with his fist. Viewers wrote that the man was stronger than the demon. The protagonist grabbed the king's staff and spun the boss, and then threw him against the wall. The evil spirit of the king shouted, who dared to do this to him? Viewers wrote that today this man will be the last person this boss will see. MC rushed to attack and hit the boss right in the head. His army admired his power. The evil princess said that she thought he was handsome. Viewers agreed with her opinion. Tiantian noted that their captain was the best. Apparently, the legendary SSS rank is not much different from the S rank. After some time in the depths of the Divine City, Shisan thought, is this really the prisoner of the dungeon, the nameless hero? The king of the Divine City asked, introducing himself, who came to him. Shisan asked, isn't he the nameless hero who resisted the tyranny of the king of the Divine City? The king of the Divine City stated what he meant. He is the king of this place. In the past, he sent soldiers to fight the invaders. After he was locked up here, the residents of this city cannot leave peacefully because they are attached to his heart. On the bookshelf next to him is information about prisoners in the 4th prison, where his life is also recorded. Shisun read that according to rumors, the Divine City contains things that were bestowed by the god himself. Therefore, many countries attacked the city in order to seize divine things. The king fought the invaders, but it led to nothing. In the end, he was secretly imprisoned, where he died. After everything that happened, the invaders decided to change history. They hid the information about the king's confrontation. And then they arranged it so that everyone thought that the king was the tyrant. Shisan thought that, to put it simply, the king was not only a great hero, but also died a long time ago. All the subsequent troubles were caused by the invaders under the guise of the king. They are to blame for everything. The king of the Divine City asked him to break the chain that was preventing him from freeing himself and helping the people of the city. Shisan agreed to help, and then thought, if the real king is here, then who is in the palace? In addition, if the king is a good person, then who is suppressing the souls of the residents and making them wander around this place? At this time, in the throne room, the protagonist asked if this is really an SSS rank evil spirit, Although he does not belong to an evil spirit, he demands that he tell him about his identity. The viewers wrote that the difference between them is colossal. The boss said that he is right, but it is time for him to contribute to his transformation. The audience was surprised by what was happening. The boss shouted that he dared to kill him. However, no one canceled the resurrection. Now he will replenish all his desires with his energy. The protagonist thought that demons have no desires and feelings. They only enjoy endless life. He also lacks human feelings. However, where did such a pain in his head come from? He felt it before, as if something would soon crawl out of his head. Ever since he came to the human world, he often has headaches. At the very beginning, while playing with the undead, the hunters knew that he was a demon, thanked him for giving them freedom. MC recalled the times when his head hurt. Jingfeng thought that now his head hurt more than when Tiantian almost died. He does not understand why this is happening. Suddenly, evil spirits stood in front of the protagonist and said that he must run away. They will cover him. The protagonist clutched his head with his hands and thought that it was very painful. A window appeared with updated data about the SSS rank dungeon boss, that his initial level is SS rank, but after he is killed, he absorbs the emotions from the enemy's heart and a second transformation is available to him, into a more powerful SSS rank demon. The evil spirit of the king said that he saw such strong emotions for the first time, but he absorbed only a small part, and only moved to the SSS rank. The host said that the boss has transformed, and now he is a true SSS rank. Who is this boss, a spirit or a demon? Didn't he become undead after the death of humanity? Why does everything look so strange? The evil spirit of the king said that they are all insignificant. They will all obey his will. They will stay here and will not be able to go anywhere. The hunters began to run away from there in panic, while the audience worried about them. Suddenly, the king of the divine city appeared, who blocked the boss's attack, and he said that he forbids touching his people. The audience wrote, "Isn't this the nameless hero? Why are there two kings?" The king of the divine city pointed out that he doesn't care who he is, he only wants to protect his subjects, or at least their souls. The hunters shouted, "How could the nameless hero be a king?" The evil spirit executioner declared that this ugly king is not an evil spirit, but a demon that has formed over the past 100 years based on the fear, hatred, and hostility of countless generations of desperate citizens. Shisan said that they themselves created a new evil king with their own fears. The true king was always a great hero who cared for his people until his death. After a while, MC thought that there was a void in his heart, as if he had lost something important. Did the boss really absorb all his feelings? Although he never had feelings, then what was the matter? The evil spirit of the king said that he was a monster who would defeat even the king. The king of the divine city could not even imagine how much their descendants would hate him. He is a true monster. The viewers wrote that there was a battle between a demon and a spirit. The evil spirit of the king shouted that he sacrificed himself for the people. However, they did not pay him anything. Does he regret his choice? The king of the divine city shouted that he did the right thing. There is no room for regret in his heart. The evil spirits decided to attack the boss together because the demon appeared from their fear, so they must defeat him. The hunters teamed up with the evil spirits and charged. Shisan thought about the true king's words about doing the right thing and having a heart that has no regrets. In fact, deep down, Shisan knew exactly what he had to do. After a while, the audience wished for them to defeat the boss, while an army of evil spirits and hunters rushed towards the evil spirit king. The boss tried to strike at them, but the divine city king stopped him, and he declared as he struck the boss that he should not touch his subjects. The audience wrote that the boss was finally defeated, and then they noticed that Wu Feng, whom they had not seen for a long time, appeared in the throne room. Wu Feng declared that he had come just in time. The boss was defeated. It was time for the portal. The audience wondered where he had been all this time. Does anyone even remember the portal anymore? The protagonist watched the dark energy that was left behind by the boss. The protagonist thought, maybe it wants to possess the demon? The energy wants to absorb its remains into the human body, and the most powerful person here is Wu Feng. Suddenly, the MC rushed into the stream of dark energy and began to absorb it. Wu Feng asked, "What's going on?" The audience also did not understand what was happening. Qingfeng thought that even Wu Feng did not notice that something was happening behind his back. If it were not for his sensitivity to demonic energy, he would not have noticed either. The evil spirit of the king shouted that he killed him again. He curses him. The audience wrote that Qingfeng saved Wu Feng. A window appeared with new information about the SSS rank boss, that this demon is made up of the grievances of countless people to whom God gave this city over thousands of years. Presumably, the reward for completing is becoming the new king of this city of evil spirits. The protagonist thought that he can manipulate the undead in the city. In addition, all the feelings that had just been absorbed from him seemed to have returned to his body again. The audience was happy that they had finally conquered an SSS rank dungeon. The protagonist thought that his chest felt so warm, the feelings that had left his body had now returned. He felt that his feelings were no longer sealed. Could it be that he was experiencing the true feelings and emotions of people now? His head began to hurt again, and an image of the hero killing a Protoss appeared in his mind. And then snowflakes began to fly everywhere, but they were dyed the scarlet color of blood. After a while, Tiantian announced that the boss had finally been overthrown thanks to Qingfeng's leadership. It was time for them to find out the location of the Protoss. Xiaoke said that their audience was more concerned about how exactly Qingfeng would clear the area further and what rewards he would receive. The host announced that Team Qingfeng had surpassed Team Fire Dragon in the rankings. Xiaoke noted that the audience could see that Qingfeng was ranked first and had surpassed Yan. He was the winner. And Shisan was ranked second. Tiantian reported that another member of Team Qingfeng was ranked fourth. Then the broadcast screen showed the King of the Divine City, with the protagonist standing in front of him. The audience discussed whether Qingfeng would become the new ruler of this dungeon. The King of the Divine City declared, shrinking the weapon in his hand, and addressing the protagonist, that he congratulated him. He became the new ruler of this city. With this weapon, he would be able to continue his reign and command the undead army throughout the city. The hunters noted that he would gain even greater strength. This is a rather rare reward that only drops for clearing an SSS rank dungeon. The protagonist thought that once the emotions returned to his body, he was able to know his existence. This is a familiar feeling for him. His heart flutters as he looks at all these spirits who have been forced to sit here for thousands of years. This particular feeling has never been experienced before. Does he really feel pain for them? The MC said that he wants freedom for these spirits. They will no longer kill anyone, their souls are free. The viewers wrote that he is a true righteous man. Qingfeng destroyed the weapon in his hands. The protagonist thought that everything was already done, and his anxiety noticeably decreased. From a human point of view, he clearly feels an emotion called sadness. He was unhappy that they were suffering, and now he is upset that they are leaving. He is not at all happy with what he is feeling now. The soul of the evil princess kissed his cheek in gratitude, and she said that he is their savior. The protagonist thought that he was the demon lord, not the savior. Did all 6 emotions really exist in his body from the beginning? However, this cannot be true. He is a demon lord who specially joined the Hunters Association. The Divine City King thanked him and said that he can usually see through people's souls, but he was unable to see his soul. Perhaps it is because he has not yet found his true path. Although he hopes that this will happen soon. The protagonist asked if he knows where the Protoss portal is. The audience was pleased that the conversation turned to the real matter. The protagonist thought that the demon lord has no path. He does not have the same emotions and feelings as humans. The Divine City King noted that no one knows about this portal. There is only a legend that says that only God knows where the portal is. However, God has never come down to them. Even the invaders have not been able to find the portal. He personally believes that it would be better for them to never have this divine gift because many disasters have occurred because of it. The audience was shocked that even the king did not know where the portal was. The hunters were angry that they had come all this way for nothing. If even the king could not find this portal after so many years, then they certainly could not. The hunters fought the boss for a long time, but in the end they thought that they had wasted their time. Wu Feng said to the protagonist that he had important information. Then he asked the king if the invaders had really searched every corner of this city. Wu Feng said that the Protoss portal was somewhere in front of their eyes. The audience admired the outstanding personalities of the Qingfeng team. Wu Feng noted that he had in his hands the summary of what he had been searching for in the library for so many days. The Divine City King did not understand what this cultivator was leading to. The hunters wondered if the portal had really been somewhere near them all this time. Wu Feng stated that the appearance of the blood moon coincided with the appearance of information about the discovery of the Protoss portal. He also looked at the information about what the city looked like thousands of years ago. According to historical records, the city given by the god was shrouded in a thick black fog, and the blood moon shone inside it. Simply put, he suspects that on the day the Protoss came, the fog hit the city, and then the blood moon appeared. The blood moon that they see is not a moon at all, but a portal. The king of the divine city noted that in his time, this moon was called a gift from God. The Protoss system told Shisan that he had done a good job. He only had to guide them to the portal. He must use the artifact to let the Protoss through. Everything will happen much earlier than last time. They praise him. The hunters, inspired by this news, wanted to open the portal to destroy the demons. Suddenly, Shisan shouted that they should stop and not open this portal. The hunters were outraged that he was preventing them from opening this portal. Shisan said that the Protoss were not good at all. As soon as they came to Earth, they would immediately enslave the entire planet. The spectators considered him crazy for daring to doubt the Protoss. The Protoss system informed him that he should not play around. He should let them through. The hunters did not want to believe his words. They considered the Protoss their salvation. Why would a newcomer dare to interfere with such a significant event for all of humanity? Shisan shouted that he understood why they did not want to believe his words. So he will break this portal so that they cannot open it. The Divine City King remembered their meeting with Shisan when he asked the king, does he know what they are hiding? Will he help them too? The Divine City King noted that he only wants to do what is best. He saw his soul, and he knows that he too is faced with a dilemma. And sometimes the right decision can cause inexhaustible harm. He hopes that he can listen to his heart. After a while, the Divine City King said to Shisan that he congratulates him, but he must not regret his decision. The hunters shouted, why should they even listen to this newbie? They want to open the Protoss portal. Shisan shouted that this will happen only over his dead body. The Protoss system was confused by his action. The hunters said that they are only one step away from summoning the Protoss. He should not stand in their way. He is only hindering the future of humanity. Shisan attacked the hunters using his unique abilities. He shouted that he would not let them through to the portal. Shisan thought that after all, he was the one who lived both among wars and among slaves. Over the past 20 years, he had become the strongest player on the planet. The hunters regrouped and rushed towards him to open a portal for the Protoss. At this moment, the protagonist asked, turning to Wuang, if he would go and open the portal. All 3 fragments of the artifact were in his hands. If he used the portal, he would be able to summon the Protoss who would fight for him. And then, he would become the hero of all mankind. Wuang noted that since he was not going, he would also stand still. Before entering the dungeon, he was very interested in this portal. Why was he just standing there now? Apparently, he knew something that he did not know, right? The protagonist confirmed his guess and stated that in his opinion they should not call the Protoss. They do not know the true intentions of the Protoss. They have too many unspoken things about them. Not long before this event, MC and Shisan secretly met. Qingfeng asked why he called him here. Shisan noted that his system is very advanced. It hacked the live broadcast, so they will not be shown for now. He would like to tell him confidential information. He thought that even the broadcast for the Protoss was currently disabled. Shisan addressed him, calling him the Demon Lord, and he told him that he wants to destroy the portal after they find it, and asks him not to interfere. Wuang himself is suspicious. He will not interfere, seeing that he is standing and doing nothing. If he does not interfere, then the others will not be a problem. The protagonist asked, does he really think his system is the best? Does he know who he is talking to right now? He finds him suspicious and ruthless. Why should he listen to him? Shisan is a human, and he is a demon. Shisan stated that he has the right to choose whether to believe him or not. He can only hope for a positive answer. He wants to make it clear that the Protoss are their greatest enemy. After a while, the protagonist thought he meant both demons and humans, right? Why does Shisan unite them at all? During the battle, Shisan loses one of his arms, but he still declares that he will not let them through to the portal. He cannot allow the Protoss to come to this planet. The Protoss system reported that they will personally destroy him. Shisan shouted that he will never allow this portal to open. Then he thought, rushing towards the portal, that his name Shisan is a slave name that the Protoss gave him. However, he was not born to be a slave. No one knows that he is the hero of this world. After today, people will copy him or love him, but it doesn't matter to him. After all, he is doing what his heart tells him to do. Shisan thought as he combined the elements of poison and fire to attack the portal, he did not want that shame to return. The viewers wrote that the portal was destroyed. The Protoss could never come again. Why were Qingfeng and Wuang just standing aside? Shisan thought that while the whole world was cursing him, calling him Shisan, he thought that it was the most terrible name that could be. But still, no one knew his real name. His body was engulfed in flames, and he thought that his real name was Liu Kuei. The viewers cursed him as he died. They thought that his death was too light a punishment. After a while, the broadcast screen displayed the ranking table, and the host announced that the SSS rank dungeon data was finally available. Because of the resistance of Shisan, a member of Team Qingfeng, the humans lost the Protoss portal, and they also lost the opportunity to fight the demon race. Team Qingfeng became one of the most hated teams by viewers. Currently, Shisan's true purpose is still under investigation. However, no one doubts that he committed a grave crime against humanity and society as a whole. Shisan died, but he still does not leave people indifferent to himself. He became a sinner and will be crucified on a pillory. At this time, people desecrated his statue in the city, blaming him for the fact that they could not defeat the demons because of him. The host said that in order to express their feelings, people spontaneously raised funds to create a Shisan sculpture, intended for passers-by to curse and beat this statue. After a while, in one of the buildings opposite the statue in honor of Shisan, who noted that they are now going through hard times. Lia said that the reporters had filled the Hunters Association. However, do they think Shisan really hid his identity? The protagonist thought that this was like a quarrel between the Lord and the God of this city. He did not understand, but watching this scene, an unpleasant feeling flared up in his heart again. Did he really feel sad? At this time, Xiaoke was fortune-telling on flower petals and said that he wanted to confess his feelings to Tiantian after the live broadcast, but such an unpleasant event happened. Lia noted that she had noticed his feelings for Tiantian a long time ago. Who believes that they have the best elements, fire and poison. They also make excellent partners, so he supports them. Xiaoke said that he really fell in love with Tiantian at first sight. When he saw her for the first time, he immediately knew what to name their children together. He wants to name his first child Liu Qiyu because they met in the fall, when the leaves begin to fall. He believes that their child will have hair like Tiantian, and the characteristics will be dual, fire and poison. The protagonist thought that one hero was finished, which means another one will soon appear. After a while, Wuang thought that he originally went to the library to find out more about the portal. But he also wanted to check some lost books. The God-given city is an ancient city built thousands of years ago. Many ancient books that were long lost were still intact. And there he found information about the Demon Lord. After a while, the news anchor said that many reporters lined up to interview Hunter Shisan's behavior that hindered peace. And now they will show a reporter who is on the scene. After a while, at a press conference of the Hunter Association, the reporters asked why Team Qingfeng did not leave their member Shishan when he was destroying the portal. Did they know about it? So they are all accomplices of this traitor? It was rumored that Qingfeng was there when the great prophet and summoner died. Is it really just a coincidence? Are people really hurt because of Qingfeng and Wufeng? The president of the Hunter Association said that he has no comment on this matter. He can only say that he believes in every member of the association. Hunters are heroes who are willing to sacrifice their own lives to save humanity. Besides, everything will depend on the trial. One of the members of the Hunter Association is going to travel back in time to find out the details of the Shisan case. The reporters asked what evidence they have. People are now distrusting the Hunter Association. They are just covering for Qingfeng, right? Qingfeng acted as the mastermind behind Shisan. They should let them talk to him in person. The president of the Hunter Association said that Qingfeng has nothing to say to them. If we talk about the Protoss and the destroyed portal, they still have other ways to defeat the demons. Hope still lives in their hearts. Wufeng said that there are two ways to destroy the demons: seal them or fight them. After Lin Shui's death, the association leader refused to challenge the magic tower. Because no one can get out of the top floor of the magic tower alive. However, he is willing to challenge the magic tower. He is confident that he can reach the top of this tower. Only he has a condition. Then, the news anchor said that this is a member of the Wuyang family and the Qingfeng team. They want to restore their reputation so that they will no longer be suspected. But currently, the mortality rate on the top floor of the magic tower is 100%. No one has ever managed to get past the magic tower, so there is a high chance that Wufeng will die there. After a while, the president of the Hunters Association said that he did not give his consent. No one has ever managed to get out of the top floor of the magic tower alive, so he forbade hunters from going up there. He thinks that Wufeng wants to go to his death. Wufeng burned the talisman in his hand and said that he has his own reasons. No one can successfully conquer the top floor of the magic tower. But this is because the top floor of the tower is guarded by a demon. Tiantian's heart suddenly tightened, and she felt a bad premonition. She thought, is something going to happen? Wufeng said that there is no demon lord in the magic tower now. The reporters pounced on him, asking how he knew about this. If this is true, then there will be no better chance for humanity. The protagonist thought, where did he find out about this? Wufeng noted, using his abilities, that the demon lord had left the magic tower because it was Qingfeng. The reporters laughed at the cultivator. They did not believe that a demon could reincarnate as a human. The president of the Hunters Association asked Wufeng not to make rash accusations. He reminded him that he could make a person lose his abilities. If Qingfeng were a demon, he would have shown himself long ago. He asked Wufeng to stop tarnishing the name of the hunters with his speculations. Wufeng said that his gourd was a magic weapon. If he pronounced the enemy's name, he would be imprisoned inside this vessel. He asked, turning to the protagonist and calling him the Demon Lord, did he answer his call? Tianqian was worried about the fate of the protagonist because she knew that he was the Demon Lord. MC asked if he had proof that the work of his artifact, the gourd, was true? What if he said a word and the gourd would suck him in right away, even if he wasn't the Demon Lord? Wufeng said as he took out his weapon, he would know when he tried it himself. The artifact fragments were extremely dangerous to demons. Would he be able to withstand his blow? Tianqian was confused and couldn't figure out how she could help him. He couldn't refuse. The protagonist arrogantly asked him to fight with all his might. However, would he be able to withstand his blade? Wufeng pointed out that he shouldn't be so arrogant. Was he scared already? Tianqian thought that the Demon Lord didn't act impulsively. The president of the Hunters Association ordered them to stop. Wufeng's words didn't prove anything, and he still hadn't been able to provide any substantial evidence against Qingfeng. Wufeng asked as he showed everyone the talisman in his hand, what if he had evidence? This is a talisman, a mind-reading art that was lost thousands of years ago. He activated it when he first came here. Mind-reading can only be used against people whose strength is much lower than the cultivator. The object of his talisman was Tianqian. She is the only person who always followed him. Tianqian was shocked by this information. Wufeng noted that he did not actually intend to make the demon speak. His goal was Tianqian's thoughts. Suddenly, Tianqian's voice came from the talisman, voicing all her thoughts about Qingfeng being the Demon Lord. Wufeng stated that Tianqian's thoughts had been exposed, indicating that she was familiar with the demon, thus revealing its presence in the human city. Tianqian looked at the cultivator in horror. Wufeng noted, addressing the Demon Lord, that he should not have saved her in the Wuang family house. Tianqian fainted. Xiaoke shouted, why did she faint? Wufeng pointed out that she was too weak, so she couldn't withstand the talisman's effect. The president of the Hunters Association said that Wufeng was deceiving everyone. The mind-reading technique was lost many centuries ago, and even if he was capable of such a thing, how would he prove the truth of his words? What if he made it all up himself? He had already said that he could make the technique disappear. That was his ability, and he had done this to Qingfeng twice. However, his appearance remained the same. Wufeng pointed out that he had no intention of convincing the public of anything. It was enough for him that he himself knew the identity of the demon. He reminded them that he was going to destroy the demon by purifying the magic tower. And at the moment, the demon was not in the magic tower, so he could easily purify everything there. However, he had a requirement that Qingfeng must be under the strict control of the Hunters Association. Let him stay in the city with the people, so as not to even approach the magic tower. The reporters thought he was crazy to want to go there alone. Although in any case, Qingfeng would have to remain under surveillance to prove his innocence. The reporters then pounced on the president of the Hunters Association to make him agree to such a condition. Let Qingfeng prove his innocence. If they refused, the public would not only suspect Qingcheng, but also him. Wufeng wanted to take on the magic tower alone. They had to agree to it. After a while, the news reported that the development of events had taken an unexpected turn. Who would have thought that the great Qingfeng would turn out to be the Demon Lord? However, is this true? Wufeng is full of self-confidence if he has any more evidence. Moreover, Wufeng wants to pass the magic tower, but to do so, he only needs to keep an eye on Qingfeng. Quite simple conditions, right? The public then discussed this event, and they were sure that if Qingfeng refused such a condition, it meant that he was hiding something. At this moment, the protagonist shouted that he gave his consent. Wufeng noted that there was no point in bluffing. He knew that Qingfeng was a demon. The protagonist decided to ask Wufeng a question, but before that, he reminded him of how he saved him in Stage 3. Shouldn't he repay in kind? However, in response, he only received suspicions from him. Was this really his gratitude? The protagonist thought that people were very complex creatures by nature. Wufeng noted that the Demon Lord would not be able to understand human feelings, and even more so, his righteousness of the soul. For the sake of the future of humanity, he was ready to renounce his feelings, including emotions and morals. The MC noted that in this case, he had nothing more to add. He wished for him a happy death. Wufeng laughed and said that he wanted to see how he would maintain his sarcasm even after he cleared the magic tower. 3 days later, at the magic tower, the host announced that they were launching a live broadcast from 2 angles at once. On one screen, the live broadcast of Wufeng's quest to clear the magic tower is being broadcast. On the other, viewers can watch what Qingfeng is doing. The Hunter Association and the Wuang family will also be watching. Viewers can confirm that it is Qingfeng in front of them, not his clone. Tianqian thought that it was all her fault. He shouldn't have saved her twice. The protagonist advised her to relax. Tianqian thanked him. The head of the Ouyang family said that once the ancestor of the family reaches the top floor of the magic tower and finds it empty, everyone will see that Qingfeng is the true demon lord. And then they won't be able to escape them. The president of the Hunter Association pointed out that they can't clearly see his abilities anyway, but Wu Feng wouldn't have said so confidently either. He wondered if the demon's body had taken on a human form. The host said that the head of the association was also shocked. According to their vote, the majority is in Wu Feng's opinion. After all, Wu Feng wouldn't risk his life so easily. They also take into account the situation with Shisan. Each floor of the magic tower is incredibly difficult, 99 floors in total. Can Wu Feng handle it? Now they'll see how Wu Feng is doing. After 1 day in the magic tower, the host reported that Wu Feng was able to reach the 9th floor in 1 day. A week later, the host reported that Wu Feng had cleared the 60th floor of the magic tower. This is much faster than Lin Shui. They remind the viewers that Wu Feng is an immortal cultivator who is famous for his artifacts. Half a month later, the host reported that this is amazing. In just half a month, Wu Feng is already on the 98th floor. He completed it 10 days faster than the previous record holder. What era did Wu Feng come from? He set a new record for clearing the magic tower. He is the best of his kind. Suddenly, the demon lord appears near Wu Feng. The head of the Ouyang family shouted that the demon lord had actually appeared. The president of the Hunters Association thought that they had been watching Qingfeng all this time. The protagonist announced that his innocence had finally been proven. However, now Wu Feng was in danger. The host announced that it was all over. A terrible mistake had occurred. They had to save Wu Feng. Although it was too early to act, Wu Feng was very strong. This might be their last chance to deal with the demon lord. At this moment in the magic tower, the demon lord from the alternate reality said that it had been a long time since they had seen each other. This time, he was in the magic tower and his rules apply here. Therefore, it was impossible to defeat him here. He thought that in his first timeline, Wu Feng had seriously injured him. Wu Feng thought, could it be that Qingfeng was not the demon lord? He couldn't believe it. And why did he mention meeting him? This was their first meeting. Although it didn't matter, he had to kill him and the rest would come later. The immortal cultivator used his abilities to attack the demon lord, who silently watched as he was enveloped in stones. The host said that they didn't expect anything else from the great ancient cultivator. Regardless of whether he could kill the demon lord in the end, the information would be extremely valuable to the people. At this moment, the demon lord was released from his confinement on the broadcast screen, and he asked, "Is this all?" Wu Feng thought, "Why is he unharmed? Does he have infinite health and magic capacity? Could this be the demon lord's power?" The head of the Ouyang family shouted, "The boss can't be invincible, right?" The president of the Hunter Association thought that he now understood why Ling Shui lost, just like the other hunters who climbed to the top of the magic tower. In the future, they must block the magic tower to stop the needless sacrifices. The host announced that Wu Feng must run away. He won't be able to stand against the demon lord. At this time, in the magic tower, Wu Feng shouted that he couldn't believe it. There shouldn't be such a powerful opponent in the world. There must be some weak points. He used his talismans: infinite life, wood, indestructibility, gold. Suddenly, the demon lord was enveloped in vines, but he claimed that this was nothing new. The immortal cultivator used his powers and slammed his weapon down on the boss. The demon lord declared that he controlled the entire magic tower. In an instant, the demon lord disappeared and reappeared in another place, freed from the vines. Wu Feng stared at the boss in shock as his weapon sank into the floor. The demon lord from the alternate reality declared that they play by his rules here. As long as they are in the magic tower, he is invincible. He then snapped his fingers and asked, did he steal his talismans? Would he like to test his own skills on himself? But he must not die too quickly. The demon lord used Wu Feng's talismans and summoned fire and water dragons onto the battlefield. The immortal cultivator was very shocked that he was able to use these talismans. The dragons of ice and flame flew towards Ouyang and instantly hit the ground, creating a powerful stream of energy. Ouyang received a strong blow and coughed up blood. Opening the jug, he said that since the techniques were useless, then he would use his rules to counter his. Ouyang angrily picked up the jug and called the demon lord to him. The beam of energy instantly pierced the jug and Ouyang, frightened, asked, "What is this?" MC asked, "What's wrong?" Ouyang wondered how this was possible. This is a magical weapon of immortals. How could the protagonist crush it with his foot? The Demon King approached him and, putting his hand on his neck, quietly said that Ouyang owed him his life in the God-given city. It's time to repay him. Ouyang coughed up blood from the pain and, squeezing his opponent's hand, He thought that Qingfeng saved him in the city. Could his guesses be correct? This can't be. Qingfeng is now under strict control. Wuang quickly swung his sword, but MC immediately stopped it with his hand, breaking it into pieces, and said that nothing in the tower could harm him, including the artifacts. The protagonist smirked and said that he would take the 3 fragments for himself. Wuang thought with great fear, how did this happen? He shouldn't have challenged the magic tower. No, he shouldn't have doubted Qingfeng from the beginning. After all, he was his savior, but it was too late. The Demon King looked at his opponent with a terrifying look and said that it was time to bear responsibility for his misdeeds. Wuang noticed the torn cloth on his body and thought that there was a wound on the protagonist's body. So who could inflict such an injury on the Lord? He doesn't understand anything. MC arrogantly raised his hand, with light emitting from it, and asked, "Is this a live broadcast?" He just wanted to tell him something. The protagonist asked not to let him down. The host said that the live broadcast signal was interrupted. This means that Wuang is dead. The Demon Lord is invincible. Moreover, he has taken 3 fragments of the artifact. Now, they will not be able to collect 10 pieces. They will not be able to defeat him even if they can seal the magic tower. The end is coming for humanity. The leader exclaimed that the ancestor is dead. The man said in fear, "What else can the demon say? What did he manage to say on live television? And who did he say that to?" The man added, "How creepy he is." At the same time, the president angrily ordered them to hurry up and report to the entire association. He said that from now on, no hunter should try to resist the Demon Lord. The man said that, although they had already collected 7 fragments, the remaining 3 were in the hands of the demon, so there was no point in them. They will not be able to seal the magic tower. Qingfeng raised his hand and said that he could get the fragments back. He can't defeat the Demon Lord, but he will at least try to seize the fragments. The director sternly refused him and said that it was too risky. They needed to think it over. Moreover, the artifact fragments were only meant to increase the success rate of sealing the magic tower. People still had a 70% chance of sealing it. The president called MC a righteous man and said that he was sorry that he dared to doubt him. This will not happen again. The assistant said that even if they had 7 fragments, their chances were still slim. The Fire Dragon team was said to find out the location of the 4th artifact fragment, but they still have not returned. There is no news. The man reported that the Fire Dragon team has returned. Captain Guyan has found the exact location of the 4th artifact fragment, and the people are rejoicing. The director was surprised and said that this is good. He said that Yan is great. He tried hard. Let him rest, and one of them needs to be set to get the 4th fragment. The man reported that Yan of the Gu family was going to break off his engagement to Ouyang Shan of the Ouyang family. The leader raised his hand in anger, pointing his finger at the assistant, and told Yan not to think that since he had become so successful, he could so easily renounce his fiancée. He could ask others too. There was no one in the world equal to his daughter. Yan raised his hands in irritability and said that if the leader needed to know, let him ask. The captain asked to tell him what was so good about his daughter. Mandy asked, "Is this Mr. Protagonist?" She had heard of him. Mandy apologized for disturbing him with their squabbles. She hoped that Qingfeng would not be angry. Mandy looked away with a smile and thought that she had a gentle voice, a sweet smile, and a generous nature. No man could resist her. MC said indifferently that he would not. He only asked them to shut up already and said that it was too noisy. The protagonist thought that winter had come. What kind of heroes should we expect next? Yan got really angry standing behind them in the crowd. He angrily called out to Qingfeng and asked how he could be rude to such a beautiful lady. This is not at all manly. Yan listened about his team member, Shisan, who committed a crime against all of humanity. MC asked the dog to stop barking and wondered why not find out the truth about his 6 senses now? One picture keeps popping up in his memories. Mandy wondered in confusion why he was resisting her charms. After all, she had increased her charm to the highest level. In fact, Mandy comes from a lower social class. No family, no money, no abilities. For a weak person like her, beauty does not bring good luck, only bullying and humiliation. One day, a message came to her phone that changed her life. A love game that surpasses modern technology and allows her to easily charm any real man. They gradually lose their minds and begin to depend on her. It's interesting to watch men who are so stern on ordinary days. But as soon as they meet Mandy, they are already on their knees and ready to sacrifice the whole world, just so that she feels good. All men are her slaves. The protagonist attracted her attention, and it must be that they will definitely give very valuable rewards for him. She sadly asked not to stand up for her. She doesn't want them to quarrel. After all, their original goal is to defeat the demons and obtain fragments of the artifact. Mandy thought that if Qingfeng could collect all the artifacts together, then he needed a special strategy. The system window notified that 2% had been added to the favor. The current favor was 72%. Yan smiled, put his hand on his chest, and turned to Mandy and said that she was the best girl he had ever met. But he would not like to join forces with him. Yan wants to take the fragment himself. He just needs to rest a little, and then boldly set off. MC, without even turning around, said that he would not go. He thought that they should bring it, and then he would take it from them. The system window notified that the protagonist's favor towards her was 0%. Mandy wondered with confusion why his favor was not growing at all. Was he really indifferent to girls? The director confidently said that he had ideas. According to the information Yan collected, the fourth artifact fragment is in an SSS rank ancient dungeon. The director thinks that they can get more information about the demon clan and the Protoss there. Even if they can't get the information, they can at least collect the information. Yan has the information, and Qingfeng has the experience of obtaining 3 artifact fragments. The two of them can join forces so that the director can be truly confident that this task will be completed. For the sake of the future of all mankind, can't we stop fighting and work together? MC turned his head to the side with interest and thought, information about the demons and Protoss? Perhaps he will be able to find data about his feelings? He confidently put his hand on his chest and exclaimed that this is for the future of mankind. Such is the duty of his generation. Yan was surprised by his words and said that he didn't think that this guy would be so responsible. He also agreed and said that he had a condition. Mandy would go with them. The leader got angry and quickly grabbed him by the throat and asked, Yan got engaged to his daughter himself, and he's taking another lady with him? Now, he'll teach him a lesson. Shan appeared behind her father and asked him not to be angry with Yan. She confidently said that she agreed to break off the engagement, but on one condition. Shan would also join the ranks of their team. The leader looked at her and asked, doesn't she like Yan? Why did his daughter agree to break off the engagement? Yan arrogantly said that if she thought she could get him back there, then it was useless. Shan said that the purpose of her joining the team was that she admired the protagonist and she wanted to be a member of his team to fight together. Qingfeng indifferently said that he didn't care about their showdown. He just asked not to drag him in. If anyone else wanted to join, then MC wouldn't mind. Yan calmly asked her to stop with her tricks. He asked, she had been chasing him for so many years, not paying attention to this MC at all, and now she had suddenly changed? The father turned to his daughter and said that she had only recently recovered. Did Shan really want to get sick again? Mandy thought that it didn't matter who else Qingfeng accepted into the team, he would still become hers. Shan confidently put her hands on her waist and said that she was not going to say anything else. Her goal was to become a member of the MC team. She thought that she had not gone crazy, but simply swapped souls, and she was not Shan, but a simple comic book lover from Earth. She loves the manhwa, I am the strongest boss, and one day she found herself in this world. Unfortunately, she became only a supporting character, in other words, unnecessary. She knows that the main character of the manhwa is a demon, so she needs to communicate better with him. After some time, people exclaim Yan's name. They exclaimed that he is the most handsome, well-mannered, noble and powerful hunter in the world. They will always support him. Yan is the true hero of humanity. He will be able to lead humanity to victory. At the same time, Gao Hu, watching everything from the window, said that he did not understand. Hunters are about strength, so why do they react so fiercely to their fans? This Yan has S-rank strength, but he won so many fans thanks to his cute face. However, their captain is not so lucky in this regard, because due to the incident with Shisan, he receives packages with death threats and evil curses every day. Gao Hu looked at the mountain of gifts and letters, and asked why people even thought that the captain is a demon. After all, it was their captain who collected 3 fragments of the artifact. He should be the one to become the #1 hero. Xiaoke confidently said that if they can find the 4th fragment, the captain will be able to regain the title of hero. Yan was appointed as the team leader, so they never managed to get into the team. This time they will not be by the captain's side, so he should take care of himself. Tiantian happily opened the box of cookies and said that she thought the captain always had problems with eating. She decided to make some snacks here. If he gets hungry, he can eat without any embarrassment. The protagonist looked at the cookies with the Demon King's face and thought that they smelled very sweet. Xiaoya, smiling, handed him the bag and said that she had nothing but money, so he should at least take that. On the way, the captain doesn't have to save and can safely spend it. Qingfeng thought that, in fact, he has nothing to spend money on. Xiaoke, holding the gift in his hands, asked the captain to accept a new phone from him. Otherwise, they sometimes can't even contact him. MC thought that, to be honest, he doesn't even understand how this thing works. The comrades happily said that they will wait for his return. The protagonist, falling silent, agreed and went to Yan. He looked at the gifts and mentally asked them to wait for him. At the same time in the hall, the Elder of Absolute Order, sitting surrounded by system windows, said that this is the Ling Shui system. Li He, Shisan, and countless live broadcast systems. The more systems, the more data. The Great Prophet foresees the future. Time returns to the elders so that they can manage the past, and he can manage the present. He has data on all the people of this era. There are still a few systems left. After collecting all the data, you can start working. 3 days later, Mandy's phone says that the progress in gaining Qingfeng's favor is 0%. A game reminder. She can get very valuable rewards for increasing favor, so she should not waste time. Mandy wondered, are these really valuable rewards? This is the first time she has been offered something like this. In that case, she needs to try hard. MC wondered why they were looking at their phones all the time. What could be so interesting about a piece of iron? The system window notifies that Mandy has something similar to a system. The protagonist looked at this and thought that he knew it. So she has a system too? They say her personality has changed dramatically lately. The system window notifies her that she has no system. Qingfeng thought that it meant she was reincarnated. The system window notifies that the gentleman is very well informed. Shanshan smiled happily and thought that she didn't expect that even after reincarnation, new chapters would be added to the phone. Is she really some kind of deity of this world? She can be the first to see all the events. Shanshan turned off the phone and thought that it was time to finish. What's more important is that her favorite hero is not on the screen, but right in front of her. Her happiness knows no bounds. Shanshan pressed the phone to her cheek with happiness and thought that this was already some kind of VIP privilege for real fans. She accidentally hit MC's body and he looked at her with hostility. Shanshan, frightened, raised her hands and apologized, saying that she didn't mean to be mean. She thought that she needed to win his favor as soon as possible. Otherwise, he would definitely kill her. Yan looked at them with confusion and wondered if Shanshan was really interested in the protagonist. Wouldn't she get into trouble if she pestered him? Okay, since she was a member of his team, he would help her. Yan raised his hand in anger and called out to Qingfeng and said that he needed to be more polite with the girls. They looked at him with displeasure and said that it was none of his business. Hearing this, Yan grabbed his chest and said that he was the captain. They should listen to him. He thought that Shanshan had always been impudent, but even MC didn't take him seriously. Mandy smiled and picked up a napkin and asked to let the protagonist wipe the sweat off his face. Shanshan asked Mr. Qingfeng to drink it. He ignored them and went on and said that it was time for them to go. The girls obeyed him with admiration. Yan exclaimed furiously that he was the captain here. When did everyone start listening to MC? He wondered why Mandy had also switched sides. When did the protagonist manage to win their favor? After some time, near a huge hole in the sand, Yan said that he had been looking, relying on the available information and his findings. It is assumed that the entrance to the SSS rank dungeon is located here. The fourth fragment was also last seen in this place. Yan looked at the watch in his hand and assumed that the entrance would open in about 10 seconds. Mandy said in surprise that there was nothing here. Where would the entrance come from? Shanshan thought enthusiastically that being present at this kind of event for a fan was the best thing that could happen. Yan said that the entrance was right here. He was sure of it. The dungeon was not easy to find. Some called it upside down. It was said that this was where the immortal cultivator who had collected all 10 artifact fragments disappeared. Moreover, according to rumors, there was a time loop here. Thanks to the elders of the Absolute Order, he learned that the dungeon would be opening this evening. There were only 5 seconds left. Yan began the countdown to the opening of the dungeon. Qingfeng wondered, where did such a huge hole come from in the desert? He gritted his teeth when he heard that there was 1 second left. Flame balls instantly began to fall from the sky and Yan asked, is this a meteor shower? MC said that it was not so, it was some kind of rockfall. Rocks shrouded in flames fell to the ground at high speed. After a while, smoke filled the space. Yan, sitting on the ground, asked, is this dawn? What about the SSS rank dungeon? The protagonist quickly sat up, leaning his hand on the ground. He looked at his hands in confusion and wondered how he could have fallen asleep. Qingfeng asked, was there a strong meteor shower yesterday? Why did so many people remain unharmed? He stood up and said that this could not be, so that there would be no consequences. He had a strange premonition. Shanshan looked into the distance with interest and asked, where is the entrance to the SSS rank dungeon? She does not see anything like that. Everything is the same as it was yesterday. Maybe they got the wrong place? Mandy put her finger to her chin in surprise and asked, maybe the meteor shower collided with the energy of the dungeon, which prevented it from opening. Will we really have to wait for the next opening now? Yan, with a mask on his face, adjusted the cap on his head and suggested returning to the city. He said that they would find out what to do next at the association. MC looked at him in surprise and asked what his comrade was doing. Yan explained that he was hiding his face, of course. He added that as soon as he entered the city, crowds of fans would come running. After some time in the city, people were looking at the protagonist's photo. Shan, walking between people, asked why there were photos of Mr. Qingfeng hanging everywhere. He was called the hero of humanity and the light of humanity. Mandy said that it was suspicious. She had never noticed anything like that before they went on a trip. Yan asked why everyone was looking at him. And why did no one recognize him? People looked at MC with admiration and asked if it was really him. She needed to tell everyone that she had seen him. People happily exclaimed that the protagonist was there. Yan said that of course, there was no way to hide from his fans. So what should they do now? People happily screamed and exclaimed that it was him, in person. Yan quickly took off his cap and mask and said that, so be it. Now he will give autographs. People, not paying attention to him, asked Qingfeng to leave his autograph. Yan asked angrily, how is this possible? MC, looking at the hands reaching out to him, asked them not to push. He ordered them not to touch him. People are asking for an autograph from him. They said that they finally saw him. Life is definitely not lived for nothing. The fans looked around in surprise and asked where the protagonist was. The girl cried and said that he ran away. At the same time, Shanshan, looking at the running people, asked what happened. Maybe it has something to do with the meteor shower? She looked at her phone and thought that she needed to see what they were writing in the manhwa. Shanshan enthusiastically thought that 3 chapters came out at once. It turns out she can predict what will happen in the next 3 chapters. The phone will become her main assistant. But if things continue like this, won't she end up playing one of the most important supporting roles? Supporting characters never have a positive fate. Maybe she should watch it. After a while, Qingfeng runs quickly down the street. He stops and puts his hand on the building. MC, with lipstick marks on his face, lifts up his clothes and says, what happened? For the first time, he's afraid of people. Tiantian appears in front of him and asks, why is Lord here? The association has been looking for him for half a day already. Xiaoke, with a hood on his head, greeted the captain. The protagonist asks, confused, what's wrong with them? Xiaoke, lowering his head, asks, what is Lord talking about? They always look like this. Tiantian gets angry and hits his head with her fist and asks, how dare he talk to Lord like that? Xiaoke apologizes and asks to let her speak. Tiantian quickly grabs MC's hand and says that they need to run to the association. Without the captain, there are only problems. The protagonist was surprised and thought, why is everything different in this world? Could it be because of the meteor shower? Did it influence everything so much? But how could a meteor shower change everything so much? After some time, in the Hunters Association, Tiantian turned to the master and said that there was a crowd of his fans at the entrance, so it would be better to enter through the back entrance. Qingfeng looked at Yan, sitting on the ground. Tiantian, leaving, said that this poor man had been begging for food at the entrance to the association for many years. Doesn't the master remember him? What's wrong with him? MC, passing by him, thought that this was not just a beggar. This was Yan from a noble family. If the whole world had changed, then his situation too. But how could there be 2 of them? How could there be 2 Yans? He asked the master to hurry up and lead the campaign against the demons. Everyone was waiting for him. Tiantian was surprised to see 2 Qingfeng and asked, why were there 2 of them? Why do they look the same? How is this possible? The protagonist thought, that's it. It's not the meteor shower's fault. It's all because they ended up in a parallel world. A completely different dimension. In other words, the meteor shower wasn't just a coincidence either. It was the meteor shower that opened the gates to the SSS-ranked dungeon. Yan said that the dungeon had a rather strange name. It seemed to be upside down. The protagonist confidently said that they can believe it or not, but he is Qingfeng from a parallel world. They wanted to find a fragment of the artifact, so they entered the SSS-ranked dungeon and were teleported to their world. Tiantian furiously showed him the middle fingers and said, so he deceived them, and she fell for it like a fool. Qingfeng from another world said, that's it. He greeted himself from the parallel world and introduced himself, saying that he was the president of the headquarters of the Hunters Association of this world. However, people prefer to call him the light of humanity. Qingfeng doesn't consider himself a hero, he just has a sincere heart and is ready to sacrifice himself for the sake of all mankind. Tiantian called him a real fool. She asked, couldn't the protagonist do everything normally? Why come to their world? The protagonist, hearing people praising him, thought that he couldn't do it anymore. He instantly spat out everything he had eaten from his mouth into the face of his self from another world. The protagonist angrily pointed his finger at him and ordered him to stop saying such things. He asked, what's with his smile? Why is it like that? The protagonist has never shown such emotions. Qingfeng thought that even if everything goes well in the parallel world, he will not be as real, kind, and handsome in the parallel world. Isn't he a demon? The Qingfeng from the parallel world instantly grabbed his other self by the hand. He smiled and said that his personality is not important, because no matter what it is, as long as the protagonist is a human, they are compatriots and fight on the same front. The protagonist apologized to him in his thoughts and thought that he was not a human. Qingfeng suggested working together to defeat their common enemy. The protagonist looked at the photos on the wall and thought that there was a demon lord and his 7 servants. Could it be the previous president? Are the 7 elders there? Why did they become demons? What kind of punishment is this? Qingfeng raised his hands and said that starting tomorrow, they, humans, officially oppose the demon race. He exclaimed that humanity will win. The protagonist thought that the world had become unrecognizable. This is strange. The protagonist put his hand on his head and said that in any case, he came here for the artifact fragment. He will help them, but they will give it to him. In addition, he needs to find 3 more of his people. Qingfeng smiled and asked for help in finding his teammates. He thinks that they are also having a hard time now. Tiantian exclaimed that she did not believe him, and Xiaoke stopped her and listened to the president. At the same time, Shanshan is standing near the building. She let go of the phone and exclaimed, "What a terrible manhwa. It all ends with the demon's death. This will not do at all." She asked, "What kind of turn of events is this? Is this really revenge from the author? If the main character dies, then what is the point of this work? What kind of weirdness is this?" Shanshan angrily kicked the phone and said that the author is a murderer. Why did they even bring her here? A bright lightning instantly struck her from the sky. Shanshan, asking for forgiveness, said that she was wrong. The system window notifies that initially the outcome of events is exactly like this, but she got there to help change everything. Shanshan needs to rebel against the heavens and change his fate. The main thing is that she should not die herself. Shanshan thought, is this a line with subtitles? She angrily ordered the author to wait and said that he should be the one to come up with a way to keep the demon alive. You shouldn't leave everything to simple time travelers. Dark clouds with lightning appeared in the sky, and Shanshan said that she obeys orders and will do whatever they order. Tianshan looked at Yan lying on the ground and asked, "Is he with him?" She sternly turned her head to the side and said that here are 3 comrades found. She suggested going to the headquarters of the Hunters Association and contributing to the future of humanity. Sometime later at the headquarters, Yan, standing next to his comrades, said that he had just visited several large families and found that the former noble had become a beggar, and the beggar had become a noble. It seemed that this SSS rank was a spatial tunnel that transported them to a parallel world. Mandy said that it was not that they had all sunk to the bottom, but that each of them had changed one of the most important characteristics. For example, Yan was born a noble and became a beggar. The cute girl Tiantian had turned into a cruel punk girl, but their other indicators had not changed. The protagonist thoughtfully put his hand on his chin and said that before leaving, the president said that information about the Protoss and demon races could be found here. Now he knew how to look for clues. Since this world was opposite to theirs, if they could ask the Protoss and demon races in this world, they would be able to launch clues about the Protoss and demon races in their world. Yan asked them to wait and said that he had a proposal. Since this world is turned upside down, and Qingfeng in this world is a bright and righteous person, does that mean? Yan paused and asked arrogantly, "Qingfeng is actually very evil and cruel?" Shanshan thought that all the lines were the same as in the comics. She must protect the demon, otherwise she will not be able to return to Earth. Shanshan asked, "Didn't Yan just say that the world is turned upside down, but everyone is different when it comes to changes? Doesn't it seem to Comrade that Tiantian and Xiaoke only changed their personalities, but they are still good hunters from the association?" Shanshan raised her hand with a smile and suggested that maybe Qingfeng just changed his personality. She asked them to look at how sunny, kind and sympathetic Qingfeng seemed in this world. Shanshan wondered why she felt so negative. Originally, Yan and the Demon Lord were silently fighting each other without saying a word, and her lines are not in the original plot. Apparently, she really can change everything. Yan thought about what was wrong with Shan. He angrily said that he still thinks he is right. Qingfeng entered the room and said that since everyone is here, they can begin their journey. He sees that they are very strong. Qingfeng believes that they can make a huge contribution. He took MC's hand and raising his hand said that they will work together, because they have a bright future. The protagonist barely restrained himself, puffed out his cheeks and thought that he felt bad. He instantly spat everything out of his mouth towards himself from another world. Qingfeng apologized and said that he couldn't get used to such a righteous expression. After some time, The knight raised his sword and ordered to attack the demon's lair. They will give their blood for the future of humanity. Yan, putting his hand on his chest, said that soon they will be at the demon's lair, so they need to eat. The protagonist, holding a box of cookies, said that to be honest, he was not really used to their dishes. He would rather eat his own food. Qingfeng picked up a white ball and said that it looked like a handmade cookie. Whoever made it for him probably cared about MC very much. The protagonist fell silent, chewing on the cookie. He looked at his phone and thought that he had barely learned how to use iron, and now, as soon as he got to this world, this thing stopped receiving a signal. It seems that in order to contact people from his world, he first needs to get out of this one. The last message he received was from the night the meteor shower began. Qingfeng said that humanity had been planning this operation for 10 years. They gathered the best hunters from all over the world and made careful calculations. This time, they have the power, and with a high probability they'll be able to destroy the demon's lair. As for the artifact fragment that MC mentioned, he only heard about it briefly. It is said that it is hidden on the 100th floor of the demon den. There is only a 10% chance of capturing it. Once they pass all 100 floors of the demon den and destroy their race, the artifact fragment will become useless. But if the protagonist excels, they can give the artifact fragment as a reward. MC thought that it seemed like the only artifact fragment in this world, after all, came here from his world, accidentally falling here. He asked, "The demon den? Isn't it a magic tower?" The protagonist thought that, however, in this world, humans are definitely stronger than demons. Perhaps this operation can really destroy the demons, although it does not concern him. Qingfeng calmly asked, "What kind of magic tower is this?" "Demons are always in the demon den. It is a cave underground and the demon king is hiding on the 100th floor down. They must remember that in this operation, they only need to take control of the demon king. In no case can they kill him. Otherwise, after his death, the demon den will disappear and collapse. Most of the people who don't have time to retreat will be buried alive in the lair." MC wondered, are there demons in the underground caves? This world is completely opposite to his. The protagonist asked, since the risk in the operation is so great, why didn't they ask for help from the more powerful Protoss race to deal with the demons? Qingfeng asked, has the Protoss race disappeared long ago? Was there no mention of it in their world? MC said that in their world there are very few mentions of the Protoss race, demons and humans. Qingfeng said that in their countless documents, ruins, civilizations clearly say that the Protoss race is merciful. They protect all living things in this world. And demons are evil, they devour all living things. People are wise, they are the first creatures created by the gods, and they are forever loyal to them. The protagonist wondered, what's going on? The descriptions in this world and his world are almost the same, but here, exactly, the opposite world. In theory, it should completely contradict his. Which of these worlds is telling the truth? He said that the history of this world has never been interrupted. Everything is clearly recorded in countless historical documents. And in his feast, historical documents have long been lost, and civilization has also been interrupted more than once. MC put his hand on his head and thought it was hurting again. Qingfeng raised his hand and said that they would leave a few people to cover them from the rear, in case of unforeseen circumstances. The three of them are very strong, so they should stay outside. Yan and Mandy agreed with him. Hunters exclaimed that they were ready to follow the orders of the head of the association. 39,800 hunters are ready to give their blood to destroy the demons. They jumped down and said that, let the era of disasters end with their generation. Let the flames of justice ignite hope in the hearts of the coming generation. After some time on the first floor of the demon lair, Qingfeng, sending out a bright light from his hand, ordered the reinforcements to stay here while they advanced towards the demons. The vanguard should follow him to the next level. Sometime later, on the 31st floor of the demon lair, Qingfeng, standing next to him from another world, said that the protagonist could rest. He could handle it himself. The power of the sacred flame might be able to suppress the strange magic used by the demons. The monsters opened their mouths, receiving powerful attacks. Sometime later, on the 66th floor of the demon lair, Qingfeng told MC that he was strong. The protagonist, sending out energy from his hand, responded in kind and said that in the end, they were almost the same person. Sometime later, on the 99th floor of the demon lair, Tianqian confidently ordered her comrades to stay behind. They needed to go to the 100th floor to see the demon king. Sometime later, on the 100th floor of the demon lair, the demon king raised his hand with a terrifying gaze, and the comrades instantly entered the room. MC laughed while taking a photo of the demon king and said that this is what the demon lord looks like here. The protagonist thought it was funny. He would take a photo and then show it to the old version of himself. Qingfeng raised his hand, creating a light arrow. He exclaimed that today humanity will win over the demon race. Qingfeng released the arrow and it flew at great speed and hit the king's body. MC quickly bound the king with energy chains and said that he had taken control of him. Qingfeng turned to his brother and said that his strength exceeded all his expectations. They will definitely win. It's time to deliver the final blow. Qingfeng used the yin-yang combined technique, the endless universe, and a powerful vortex formed around. A powerful explosion formed at the place of impact of this technique, illuminating the space around. Tiantian was delighted and jumped up and exclaimed that this was good. She walked up to Qingfeng and said that they won. MC calmly smiled, looked at the sparkling object and thought, here is the artifact. Xiaoke said that just in time. The Demon King was on his last legs. Qingfeng ordered that under no circumstances should the king be allowed to die. Otherwise the lair would collapse. He said that when people from all 99 floors leave the lair, then they can finish off the king. Qingfeng instantly struck the king's head with force, finishing him off. He said that they did not need to leave. All 30,000 elite hunters will be buried here. The comrades asked in fear, what is the president doing? How could he kill the Demon King? Apart from the elite hunters, no one else would have time to escape. Xiaoke exclaimed in fear. The Demon King had died and the demon lair would collapse. He said that their people were still outside, holding the line. They wouldn't have time to retreat, and most of those who weren't strong enough would be buried here. Qingfeng instantly struck his comrades, causing them to fall to the ground. He asked terrifyingly if they were gone, would the world know about his deeds? MC wondered what was going on. Isn't this the opposite world? In his world, he was a ruthless and cruel demon lord. Shouldn't Qingfeng be holy and immaculate? How could he suddenly do something like this? The protagonist remembered his comrades, put his hands on his head, and thought that it hurt. He thought that although he knew that these weren't his Tiantian and Xiaoke, it was still hard to openly watch them die before his eyes. How strange. Again, some strange emotion overwhelms his heart. Unlike the previous sadness, this time the emotion is so strong that the protagonist cannot control it. What kind of emotion is this? Memories come up again. MC thought that the people demand punishment. The hero grew demon horns. He became the biggest sinner in this world. The protagonist, feeling intense pain, thought that this strange feeling makes him worry. Wants to kill. Wants to destroy everything. He cannot control himself and loses his mind. If these are the emotions that people have, then it should probably be hatred. Qingfeng smiled ominously and said that he reread ancient books and knows about the existence of their parallel world. He did not think that one day he would meet himself. Qingfeng raised his hands, creating a magic seal, and asked, will the protagonist allow him to see which of them is stronger? He directed a stream of light from his hands, creating a dragon. MC confidently raised his hands, creating a huge tiger from dark energy. They simultaneously said that there should not be two versions of him in this world. The tiger and the dragon rushed towards each other. At the same time, in the demon lair, the knights standing among the falling stones asked to look at it and exclaimed that everything was collapsing. The knights on the street asked, how is this possible? Is the king really dead? Most of the squad has not retreated yet. They will be crushed. It's over. They must help the rest. The comrades asked in fear, where is Qingfeng? He didn't die, did he? Shanshan looked sternly to the side and thought that no, he is not inside. At this moment the protagonist is behind them. MC, holding the wound on his hand, said that he is not dead. The comrades were very scared to see him and exclaimed that Qingfeng is alive. Mandy looked at him sadly and asked, what happened? The protagonist said that to be honest, that Qingfeng from the parallel world has gone crazy. He wants the powers of people and devils in this world to exhaust each other, and then plans to rule the world himself. MC fought him and won, but he himself suffered. The protagonist pulled out a fragment and said that there is good news too. He got it. Yan was happy and looked at it and said, here is a fragment. Qingfeng put the fragment in his pocket and said that there is no need to stay here. He does not think that after Qingfeng disappeared from this world, they got rid of the problems. They have the fragment of the artifact, they can leave. Yan said that they will return to the desert, just in time for a meteor shower tonight. Perhaps they will be able to return to their world. Shanshan thought with fury that everything is the same. Every scene, every phrase, everything is like in the Manhwa. This is exactly the third chapter that she spoiled, which means that the demon will die soon after. Although no, perhaps the demon has already died. Shanshan quickly grabbed Yan's sword and wondered why the story continues after the demon dies, because the story is about how the author changes him on a pilgrimage for sacred scriptures. Shanshan instantly attacked Qingfeng, and thought that the current demon was Qingfeng from a parallel world. The real demon, without the support of the magic tower, failed and fell on the very top floor. The comrades were very scared and said that Shanshan killed him. Qingfeng with terrifying red eyes asked, can't be, how did she understand? Shanshan looked at him angrily and thought that this manhwa in 50 chapters is only a prologue. The story when everything got to this place is only a prologue. When Qingfeng from the parallel world, pretending to be MC, comes to the original world to collect the 9 remaining fragments of the artifact. In this world, there is only 1 fragment of the artifact, and this is not enough to become a real king. He is going to not only weaken the powers of people and demons, but also maximize his own power. If Qingfeng wants to collect all the fragments, he needs to go to another world. And the real demon lord lies on the top floor of the tower, breathing his last. But in the end, he will be discovered by the hunters of their world, exposed as the instigator and culprit, and sentenced to death. No one knows that the real hero has been in another world all this time. Shanshan picked up the artifact fragment and said that if the comrades want to get the fragment, they should go with her for the real Qingfeng. She confidently clenched her hand and thought that she wanted to change the course of events. The demon must survive. Shanshan hopes that he can hold out a little longer. At the same time, the protagonist is lying on the ground among the rubble. After some time, powerful explosions occurred at the site of the fall of the lair, and the knights exclaimed that the demon's lair was destroyed. The knight ordered the support hunters to save the others. The hunter approached the MC lying on the floor and exclaimed that Qingfeng is there. The assistant disagreed and said that, although he looks very similar, he is not Lord Qingfeng. This is the one who came from a parallel world, like another protagonist identical to him. The hunter asked with confusion. They were together. Why was he left alone? The assistant suggested that their Lord Qingfeng defeated the Demon King. The second hunter said that their president could not have killed the Demon King like that. It led to the destruction of the lair. It was probably the MC from the parallel world who intentionally dealt a fatal blow to the king. The hunters crossed swords and said that the protagonist is a criminal who killed all the hunters. The assistant must kill him to avenge everyone. They exclaimed that the MC is still breathing. They need to kill him. He must have killed the real Qingfeng. The hunters paid attention to the order to stop. The protagonist crouched on the ground and asked what happened. Yan confidently said that the MC is not a murderer, king. The real culprit is their president, Qingfeng. He intentionally killed the Demon King to bury all the hunters alive. The hunters raised their swords in rage and exclaimed that this was not true. The hunter ordered to kill them. Shanshan held Yan's hand and ordered everyone to leave. She said that they would not listen to them. MC raised his hand as he stood up and said that he had a headache. The hunters looked at the bright light that surrounded the opponents and exclaimed that they had escaped. After some time, the city news said that there was good news. Thanks to the efforts of their president Qingfeng, the demon's lair was destroyed and the Demon King was dead. Bad news. Many hunters died because of the villains from the parallel world. We must remember the hero Qingfeng and curse the stranger from another world. He is the greatest criminal. The people holding flowers in their hands near the statue of Qingfeng exclaimed that the president is the hero of this world. He saved them. They have never met such a kind, fair, and glorious person like Qingfeng. The residents threw stones at the statue of the protagonist, saying that the strangers are to blame for everything. They exclaimed that the outsiders were villains, criminals, and asked for their children back. Her 3 sons died in the demon extermination operation. If it weren't for them, her sons wouldn't have died. All because of the outsiders. Now the fighting power of this world has been set back 100 years. What should they do if they are attacked from outside? At the same time, Yan, hiding with his comrades behind the wall of the building, said that even he couldn't watch this. They were twisting history too much. The real villain was declared a hero, and the real hero became inglorious. If everything were cleared up, then perhaps it would be recorded in the annals of history for thousands of years. Now it's clear that historical records shouldn't be trusted. MC thought that this scene made him remember Shisan. Not only Shisan, but him too. The protagonist remembered the memory of the Demon King. Many people scold the hero, turning him into a criminal of the world. Qingfeng came out of the memories and thought that the headache was becoming more and more frequent. What did these awakening memories mean? Shanshan calmly lifted her hair with her hand and suggested that they prepare to leave. She said that tonight there might be another meteor shower. They should use this chance to leave the parallel world. The protagonist looked at her sternly and said that he wanted to ask her something. What does she know? Why does Shanshan seem to know so much? What is her goal? She looked at him with a smile and asked. It doesn't matter. The important thing is that she saved him, right? Maybe Qingfeng won't believe it, but she has known him for a long time, and she was in love with him. The system window congratulated the Wanderer and announced that Shanshan had completed the Demon Lord's life test. Now, they will send her back to her homeland, Earth. Shanshan asked, can she return to Earth? She happily said that among the tens of thousands of Wanderers, only a few can survive and return to Earth. She is one of those who are very lucky. Yan waved his hand near her face and asked what Shanshan was muttering about. Qingfeng thought that perhaps she really was a time traveler. The system window announced that a teleportation portal was opening. They would immediately teleport her to Earth. Shanshan, standing near the portal, said that she knows that the protagonist hates time travelers because they occupy the bodies of the real owners, but MC doesn't have to worry, she will soon leave this body, and the soul of the real Shanshan will return to the body. In fact, she is an ordinary person, an actress from a small theater troupe in Haibin City on Earth. Qingfeng is her favorite character, and she is glad that she experienced this adventure with him. This is probably their last meeting. Shanshan, entering the portal, said goodbye to him. The protagonist said goodbye to her with a smile and told her to return to her homeland. Yan furiously disagreed and asked to wait and asked why they were saying goodbye so easily. What is this ray of light around Shanshan? Where is it teleporting her? Yan, frightened, stretched out his hand and called out to MC, asking him to stop her. Qingfeng, holding his hand, said that his comrade does not understand. He asked Yan to let her go, because she must return to her world. Yan asked, and what does MC understand? He said with fear that the fragment of the artifact that was just taken out of the demon's lair was in her hands. The protagonist quickly ran up to Shanshan and asked her to wait, telling her to leave the fragment of the artifact. The system window notifies that the portal to return to Earth is officially open. 2 people are being teleported. Qingfeng, having flown into the portal, asked to wait and asked if he was being teleported to Earth now. Shanshan, frightened, asked, "Is this a joke? Isn't the demon a character from comics? Can he get into the real world? Which world is really real?" After some time, the protagonist opened his eyes and asked, "Where is he?" People looking at MC lying on the road asked how this man appeared in the middle of the road. Is this some kind of supernatural phenomenon or an alien? Qingfeng wondered, what's wrong with these earthlings? Even if he was teleported, what's wrong with that? Have they ever seen hunters who can teleport in space? Or hunters who can instantly move? Or maybe there are no hunters in this world at all? The shard is still at Shanshan. After some time, a fireman said in the crowd of cars that they were in a hurry. He ordered everyone to disperse and clear the road. People filming the protagonist on their phones said that he just appeared out of nowhere. All the residents are filming MC on camera in the hope of becoming popular. Qingfeng put his hand on his chin with interest and thought, have people from Earth never seen time travelers? And who are wizards? At that moment, the protagonist suddenly realized that in this world there is a profession that does not exist in his world, wizards. A policeman stopped near MC and asked why Qingfeng was standing here. Is the protagonist a wizard? He did not receive a notification about the magic performance for today. The policeman raised his hand and ordered not to interfere with traffic. MC greeted him in surprise and said that he wanted to find a person. Her name was Shanshan. And who is a policeman anyway? The policeman said his profession and asked, what's so strange? Does no one know policemen in this world? Nowadays, young people are carried away by their internets. They know no boundaries. He asked the protagonists to look at the people around him and said that now Qingfeng would be posted and disgraced. MC looked up and thought, that is, even if he doesn't find Shanshan, he will become popular on the internet and she will find him herself. The protagonist put on his hood, enveloping himself in mana, and thought that then he would try to pretend that he was a wizard, let them post it on the internet. Just flight and teleportation, is everyone really that scared already? The fireman asked angrily, what is this? Why are you stuck in the middle of the road? He exclaimed that they are in a hurry. The fireman pointed at the building and said that a high-rise building was burning. They had to put out the fire. There was a little girl there. They couldn't waste time. She was about to die. The fireman angrily grabbed Qingfeng by the clothes and ordered him to leave. He said that the protagonist was hindering traffic. They wouldn't be able to put out the fire and the child would die. MC was surprised and said that he didn't quite understand. Who are firefighters? Don't they have hunters with the element of water? Qingfeng put the hood on his head and said that it was about saving people. Without finishing, he instantly took off, enveloping himself in mana. The fireman was surprised and asked what happened. So MC is really a wizard? People quickly came running to look at it. The fireman said that it was definitely not magic. There had to be a reasonable explanation for this. The protagonist flew towards the building at great speed, leaving a bright trail behind him. The fireman raised his hand, covering himself from the strong wind, and said that he was the most powerful wizard in history. The girl standing in the middle of the flames looked at MC and asked, is this a superhero? Qingfeng wondered where another profession came from. It seems that hunters from this world specialize in different industries. The girl fearfully asked him to wait and said that there was a cat left at home. They need to save it. The protagonist snapped his fingers, and the dog instantly appeared in his hand. He said that there was only a dog here, no cat. The girl happily looked at the dog licking MC's face and, disagreeing, exclaimed that the cat was her dog. Qingfang landed on the ground, successfully saving the child and the pet. People looking at him asked, "Is this a magic show? Is the fire also fake? This is the coolest magic they have seen." The girl asked with admiration, "How did he fly so high?" MC asked in surprise, "Has he already become a hero?" After some time, a video with the protagonist appeared on the platform on the internet. Shanshan opened her eyes and thought that she woke up. She sat up from the bed and thought, did she really return to the theater staff dormitory? Shanshan is on Earth now? She put her hand to her chest and wondered, why is it burning? Shanshan pulled out the shard and thought, did she accidentally bring the artifact shard back to Earth? Isn't this the world from the comic book? Wasn't this all made up? How did this thing get to Earth? If the artifact shard is real, then do the characters in the comic book also exist? Who is the author of the comic book? Shanshan was scared when she heard her name being called. She opened the door with a smile and turned to her grandfather and said that she just woke up, now she will put on makeup and get to work. Grandfather said that he decided to sell the theater to a larger company. Shanshan was very surprised and asked, isn't this his life's work? Grandfather said that in recent years there have been fewer and fewer spectators. This theater has no future without the help of larger players. He sadly said that grandfather let her down. The granddaughter sadly walked away and thought that she couldn't let him give up his life's work. Shanshan looked at the message that came on her phone and wondered, was there something new? She saw Qingfeng's photo and wondered, wasn't that the demon lord? The protagonist had come to Earth. Shanshan was overjoyed, clutching the phone to her chest and thought that she had the artifact fragment. It had come on her. She knew how to save Grandpa's theater. After a while, MC, sitting on the roof of the building, thought that too many things had happened recently. When he calmed down and analyzed them, he found that all the evidence pointed to a disturbing conclusion. The protagonist remembered the words of his otherworld self. Qingfeng said that in their world, countless historical records and civilizations clearly describe the Protoss as guarding all life in this world. The demons, evil, consume all life in this world. Human wisdom is the very beginning of life. They are all created by the gods, so they must obey them. MC came out of his memories and thought that in a parallel world that contradicts them, the gods are fair and the demons are evil. Qingfeng remembered Shisan's words and thought that in his eyes, who came from the future, the gods are their greatest enemies. As for the two fragments of memories that the protagonist awakened in the incidents, the human hero killed a god. When the snow fell in flakes, the blood stained the snowflakes red. Why does MC take it for granted that this is the hero? If the killer of a god is a hero, then the gods must be bad? If the gods are bad, then what about the demons? The second picture. The immortals are chasing the hero. He grows horns, turning into a demon of this world. Qingfeng, gritting his teeth in pain, put his hand on his head and thought that it was starting to hurt again. The evidence converges into a terrifying fact. If the gods are evil and the demons are oppressed, then who is the protagonist? And what about the artifact fragments? A hand quickly descended on his neck. Shanshan, removing her hand, said that it was quite dangerous to sit on the edge of the roof. Qingfeng calmly replied that he could fly. She disagreed and said that she was not worried about him. It was just that the police might come. MC extended his hand towards her and asked for a fragment of a divine artifact. Shanshan asked him to help her with one thing, to help her family, and then she would give it to him. The protagonist agreed and Shanshan, very surprised, asked, did he agree so easily? Not at all like a demon lord. She clutched her throat with her hands and said that she thought Qingfeng would say, how dare Shanshan threaten him? She signed her own death warrant. MC said as he left that she seemed to like novels. Shanshan once saved him in a parallel world, so he thought he should grant her wish. Once she was done with this, she would give him the artifact fragment and they would go their separate ways. Shanshan asked admiringly, the protagonist is not at all like a demon lord, very emotional, even knows how to be grateful. Qingfeng sternly said that after they came from the undead city to the parallel world, he seemed to have awakened two kinds of emotions, sadness and anger. Shanshan said that she believed that these were not the emotions that he should have now. More precisely, these are only two of joy, anger, sadness, fear, love, hate, desire, which are also included in emotions. To them are added greed and anger, which belong to the three poisons, that is, the desire to possess and the anger from unsatisfied desire. And then there is lust, that is, not knowing what to desire. The protagonist put his finger to his chest, radiating energy from them, and said that he is the lord of demons, he has no lust. He is clearly aware of his desire, the destruction of people. Shanshan, having calmed down, put her hand on his back and said that in his 50 chapters, MC kills bad people and does only good deeds, and so she believed in his goal. Qingfeng, with a terrifying look, grabbed her by the clothes and asked, he wanted to ask everything. How did she know that he was the Lord of Demons? And where did she get these strange statements and the ability to foresee? Shanshan, frightened, said that he would have to wait a little before she told him. She thought that she was afraid that the protagonist would not be able to come to terms with the fact that he was a character from a comic book. After some time, the grandfather was thrown to the floor. He Feng sternly turned to the old man and ordered him to agree to 100,000. He straightened his tie and said that if it weren't for the demands of the head office, he wouldn't have given a penny for this damn place. The grandfather, kneeling, put his hand on his leg and said that his small theater had been around for 30 years. And although it wasn't thriving, it had a good reputation. Why were they only giving 100? You couldn't even buy a piece of land with that money. Feng kicked him and told the old man to appreciate that they were willing to buy his theater for at least that amount. If it weren't for the head office, he wouldn't have gotten a penny. Feng was kicked in the face with all his might. The comrades looked at the boss, who had flown away in fear, and called out to him. Qingfeng is stretching his hands while standing next to Grandpa and Shanshan. She asked if he really wants to die. Shanshan ordered him not to go too far and said that violence is not allowed in this world. MC will be arrested by the police. The protagonist confidently prepared for the attack and asked, "Is the police something like the Guild of Hunters in this world?" Shanshan looked at him with fear and said that almost they act as defenders of order in this world. Feng, angry, pointed his finger at them and asked, "How dare Qingfeng harm the CEO? What's wrong with the old man? He won't sell a single ticket anymore." He asked them to wait and said that they would soon come on their knees. They will beg him to buy their theater. The grandfather grabbed the protagonist's hand and asked what to do now. Nothing good will happen. MC calmly looked at him and asked him not to worry, said that he would help them resurrect the theater. Qingfeng asked him to take care of him. Shanshan, looking at them, thought that this was strange. His last name is very familiar. She was very surprised when she looked at the phone screen and thought, "I am the strongest boss? Isn't this manhwa published by this company?" After a while, Shanshan, seeing what happened some time ago, thought that the manhwa was updating at the same time as reality. It seems that after she returned to Earth, she could not use the manhwa to foresee the future. The manhwa seemed to record real events. How did the author know about all this? If so, then the author knew that the demon came to the real world? Is all this just the author's plan, and they are step by step moving towards the end he planned? Grandpa, dressed as a clown, happily said that the performance would start soon. Her friend was very good, thanks to his advertising. A lot of tickets were sold. But in order to save their theater, they needed to see how the performance went that evening. He asked his granddaughter to help him. Shanshan confidently clenched her fist and thought that it was too late to think. First, she would help Grandpa save the theater. At the same time, there was a banner in the city that said that everyone should hurry. An internet celebrity wizard was going to visit a small theater. The old man pointed at the banner and asked, "Will there be an internet celebrity?" The people said with admiration that they hadn't been to the theater for a long time. This theater is old, but it has a good reputation. After a while, Shanshan, standing in front of a full hall of spectators, introduced them to the theater. She said, smiling, that today a famous internet magician will show everyone an amazing magic show. There will also be lucky people chosen to go on stage and take part. Feng, standing in the hall, angrily said that they will see how one can rise from the dead. They will soon see how their performance will turn out. Shanshan raised her finger and said that, in addition, filming is allowed in the theater today. They can actively film and send videos to various platforms. They are confident in the success of this performance. No matter how many times they watch the video, they will not find the solution. The guy picked up his phone and said, "Wow, they even allow filming." The girl said that all these magic tricks are the same type of techniques. Shanshan, pointing to Qingfeng, asked the audience to enjoy the performance. Feng mockingly pointed his finger at him and asked, "Are they still showing these tricks? What century is it?" He thought that at least this place could show a miracle. The protagonist, with a terrifying look, said that they would randomly choose one spectator. MC pointed a hacksaw at Feng and said that it should be him. The people said that this random spectator was definitely not real. These were old magic tricks, nothing new. Feng said that a living person is locked in a box and then cut in half. Then the box is put back together and the person is as good as new. In fact, it is just the arms and legs that move the box. He put his hand on MC's shoulder and told Qingfeng not to think that he would play along with him. The protagonist filled the hacksaw with energy and instantly cut Feng. He screamed loudly in pain and blood spurted out. Feng wondered, how is this possible? MC exclaimed with an ominous smile that he sawed him in half. The audience asked, did they just go and saw him? Grandpa was very surprised to see this. People were very scared, and Feng exclaimed that he was being killed. The protagonist raised his hand over his body and using the highest healing magic said that the viewer was not dead yet, he could be saved. All the wounds on Feng's body disappeared and he raised himself and asked what happened. There were not even any scratches on him. The viewers enthusiastically raised their phones filming what was happening and exclaimed that he was alive. This is the most amazing magic that has ever been seen. How did Qingfeng do it? MC with a terrifying look and a bloody face offered to show it a couple more times and instantly cut Feng. The viewer, having received healing, thought that this pain was real. Feng asked not to kill him, but the viewers exclaimed that it was cool. They filmed bright streams of energy and said that no matter how many times he died, he continues to resurrect. The video will definitely go viral. The coolest wizard a person has ever seen. Qingfeng smiled ominously and said that he warned that he was the strongest wizard,